Hi, welcome to Own the Future. I'm Lucas Scrobot, and I have some really exciting and embarrassing news to tell you today. First, the exciting news. We're 39 episodes into Own the Future, and today we have the one and only Mohammed Flood. If you're here watching this on YouTube, you probably found me and this interview from Mohammed. He is an amazing YouTuber. من سعودي أصلاً من أمريكا بس he's amazing. Go and follow him. His link to his profile is in the show notes. But the embarrassing news, the other exciting news is this. I finally have a video set up for the podcast. It has been far more work than I could have ever imagined. All you video guys out there, props to you. Here's the embarrassing news. Leading up to the interview, I was finally solidifying all of my gear to make sure everything was running smoothly. And I have to have an external recorder to actually record 3-hour-long interviews. So with that, I had one setting turned wrong, which caused it to actually record whatever the screen was displaying. So all of the little, eye focus and sound bars and everything that you see in the back of a camera got recorded onto the video. When I saw it, I almost died. So I apologize for that. Please forgive me. The content, the episode, Mohammed Flood, is still great. You are going to learn so much. So I just want to say thank you for being here at Own the Future, and I hope to see you at the end of this episode. Remember, if you own your story, you will own the future. Welcome to Own the Future, a podcast made for and by changemakers, where we gain the courage to own our story, the freedom to own our craft, and the power to own the future. And we are here today with someone who has really owned his future. He has taken initiative. He goes out of his way. He wakes up early to do what he says he's going to do. He challenges himself in ways that I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know if that's such a good idea, but he goes for it. And so we are with the one and only Mohammed Flood. Assalamu alaikum. Kayf alak?
Wa alaikum salam. Thanks for having me, Lucas.
I'm so stoked that you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
When I reached out to you, I was really shocked that you made such an effort to meet me where I am when here in the States. And it made me, I said this to you, but I stopped and I realized there is a reason that you are so successful in your craft in YouTube. It's because you are willing to take the steps and do things that other people are not willing to do. You're willing to, You're willing to be uncomfortable and push yourself in areas that other people were like, it's just too hard.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Well, I've always lived in a matter of never missing an opportunity so you don't regret it.
Right.
So, as I grew up, I always looked back on things that, man, you know what? If I would have done that thing, I would have had this. So now I'm 24 years old and I'm
so young.
Yeah, right.
So young.
I'm like, you know what? If it's in my way, I have to do it. It's just, I'd rather regret it now and say, yeah, it just didn't work out for me rather than, saying, I should have taken the opportunity.
Right.
So,
Were you always like that?
No. I was actually the opposite. I was kind of shy in school. And not shy in terms of like not talking to people, but not taking action, and
Right.
So,
what was the turning point for you that kind of clicked and made you think, okay, I'm gonna do something with this. I'm gonna change my motive.
Traveling really kind of like shook me, me growing up in Saudi Arabia, being an American, I always had that level of like, I'm good. Everything in life will be perfect. I'm good. I'm in a good place. But then I feel like what would happen if I was born with another nationality in another country, for example? I'll be like any other person. So what skills I can have that will, make me stand out. So
So, and after just your timeline, after you at 4, you moved to Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Saudi Arabia, during the summers, you'd come back to the States, right?
Yeah.
And then you moved to Malaysia for your first year of uni. Is that right?
Yeah. Basically, when I graduated high school, me and my parents thought it was, a good idea to start in Malaysia just because, maybe America would be like a culture shock for me, even though, I'm an American myself. But, it's like, yeah, Malaysia's like easier.
Was it seeing people kind of on that level of, I don't know if poverty is the right word, but seeing a lot more lower class, working class people in Malaysia that caused you to think like, wait, what am I contributing to the world?
Not really. When I first went there, it was definitely a new country, new language, new culture. And I've always been the person to love the experience with whatever, it gives in return. But as I was going through it, I was getting a lot of, how the heck are you an American, but not studying in America? Because there's the stigma of being, American universities are the best universities in the world. What are you doing here?
Right.
So for me, that was like, yeah, that's kind of true. Maybe because Malaysia was cheaper, or maybe because I was going to fail in the States, or was it because, there was a lot of maybe, I don't know if. So, one day I was like, hello, Dad. You know what? I need to go back to my country. This is not going to work for me here. So, yeah.
And he was pretty accepting of that.
Oh, definitely. He's always been, do what you want so you don't have to play me in return.
Right.
Yeah, but he's always been supportive of whatever we want to do.
So when do you remember at the age of 4 moving to Saudi?
No.
What was your kind of those first few years in Saudi like? What was it like as an American growing up in Saudi Arabia?
I don't even remember the exact age. All I know is like I was, like a baby or not even in school. I just tell people 4 as in, I was really young. I don't really know the exact age. All I knew is I used to play with the kids in the park in the States. So that's how I like picked up my accent while talking to my dad. And, when I first moved to the States, we were living in the eastern side. So, with time, getting into kindergarten and, like first grade, second grade, I was picking up Arabic, especially talking with my mom who's Arab. And I think I started like forgetting English. So yeah, my English wasn't good. I mean, even today, I still say my English is not good. But
would you say that you process your thoughts and your emotions in Arabic?
I don't know. It just clicks. I really I'll have dreams in both languages. I'll you'll even see me. I'll say things in English and then I'll have the idea in Arabic. Or I'll have it the other way around.
Wow.
Or sometimes I'll think of something. I don't know what I'm thinking of.
Wow.
In terms of language. So it's just like, they click together. They vibe together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Mohammed, you are known for being a YouTuber and you've been doing this for 8 months and you already have 108.
Yes.
Or is it 109 now? 108,000 subs.
Yeah.
Incredible. Tell me this, like, how did that happen? Because so many people take, you hear the story over and over again. There's no overnight success. And I put out 100 videos and they only had, less than 100 plays each. And then all of a sudden I started to grow and it took me like 20,000 years. And now I'm finally someone. That's not your story.
Yeah.
What happened?
So to answer the first question, it's all about the approach. You got to know why you're doing certain things.
Yeah.
So you can't just be like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber because it sounds cool to be a YouTuber.
Right. Because right now, everybody
wants to be a
YouTuber.
Yeah. Like I'll have a camera. I'm like, you're a YouTuber, right? So cool. I'm like, what's cool about it?
Right.
So,
right.
But to answer the second question,
was the first, why are you a YouTuber then?
Because I feel that I have a message that I want to convey in long term. So I want people to see where I started and what am I capable of. I always had this in me, but I was like, you know what? Why don't I turn those thoughts into videos to where later on in life I can be like, hey, look where I started.
Right.
So
what is the message that you want to convey? Is it that your progress, or is there like
anybody can do anything?
Anyone can do anything.
Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm a student, but look where I will be.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question then.
Question.
How did you explode overnight? What happened?
Okay. So you want the short?
I want the long.
The long. Okay. So I was always into social media. I had an Instagram when I went to Malaysia. I think 2012 is when Instagram started. 2011,
yeah,
2012.
Probably.
Yeah. So I was posting about like, oh, ramen noodles. Hey, look at this Malaysian thing. Look at this, and in English and in Arabic. And people were like, oh, cool. So I was getting like, 200 likes, 300 views. Back then, that was like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah. Nobody knew about this social media thing. And then I used to watch a lot of YouTubers thinking, so cool. It's just so cool. These people are so cool. Never have I ever thought that I would become one. And one day, my brother is watching this one YouTuber, and he's like, hey, this guy's looking for people to, do a story on. I'm like, yeah, whatever. If you want me to do it, fine. I have nothing to do. He's like, okay. So this guy ends up contacting me on Instagram saying, hey, like, you're down? I'm like, I'm down. He flies to Houston. He's from Alabama. And, he comes with his gear.
Is this last year?
This is last year. Okay. This is October of last year.
October of last year.
Yeah. And I was shocked. This guy's famous. A lot of people know him in the Middle East, even, worldwide. And he was really shy, as this like influencer. And I was like, okay, maybe he's just trying to test me, So he was like, okay, this is what we're going to film. Show me a little bit more about the city. What's a good coffee shop? And he was making these videos out of nowhere, like just like Snapchats.
Right.
Filming here, and there. And he's like, we're done. Well, what do you mean we're done? When is the actual thing going to happen? It's like, oh, no, we're done. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, this guy, I don't know who my brother signed me up with, but I don't think he knows what he's doing. So he goes back to Alabama.
At that point, you didn't think you knew what he was doing.
Yeah. So, because I was like, this is too easy.
Right.
This is too easy. I mean, I don't know. It was just like, for me, this is a joke. He goes back home. 2 weeks later, he's like, the video's up. I'm like, cool, whatever. What video? Boom. 1.2 million views.
Wow.
And I'm like, what?
Wow.
What? So, I was shocked.
That's crazy.
I was shocked. And I was like, what made this video interesting? And it was literally me just putting out reality, like just putting it out there. Every question that he was asking, I was literally like, putting my heart, being truthful 100%. And people kind of see.
Because you didn't think he was like.
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't think the video was even starting. You're just like, shooting the breeze.
I knew the video was like the camera was on and everything, but I was at a point where like maybe this is just for him to see my style and how I answered certain things. And
so it wasn't like you had sitting down, the camera's in front of you, and you're like nervous trying to give the right answers.
No, I was never camera shy. I was never camera shy. I was kind of ballsy in terms of these things.
Right.
For some reason, I don't know until today, but yeah, no, he had the camera like right there, like he had a tripod and he was filming me, and then he'll move it and put it on him and he'll talk, and then he'll be like, hey, tell me more about this, tell me more about that, like general questions about life and who I am. And, like we started, where did you grow up? Right. And back then I didn't think that these things were important. Like, why is my story interesting? Yeah. I never looked at it that way. And I guess it is.
It is interesting.
So, it just went boom. And people were like, who is this guy? Who is this Flood, whatever? Like, who is this guy?
And you have a cool name.
Yeah, right? My last name is Flood, like the water.
That is cool.
And I was like, wow, okay, well, let me try this YouTube, per se. And I made a video. An American.
You didn't have, 1.2 million views. Mm-hmm. You had an Instagram before.
Yeah.
But were there people starting to follow you, or did you just have like maybe 1,000, 2,000 like friends?
I had like 23K on Instagram.
Before in Malaysia.
Yeah, no, not in Malaysia. Before that video aired.
You had 23K on Instagram. So you already had a following.
Yeah, because I was making videos on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I was making motivational videos. Like I said, I've been into this like social media realm already.
Okay.
But I was not making YouTube videos.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I do Instagram.
So what caused you to start, I'm going to backtrack. What caused you to start putting out content on Instagram? Like what was like that trigger of like, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, because, the way I see myself is that I'm different. I'm an American who lives in Saudi Arabia, who speaks both languages, who knows about both cultures and experiences. So I was like, I can merge them both together and show the good on both societies. Yeah. Show the Americans, hey, this is what Arabs really do. And then show, the opposite side. This is exactly what we're doing. So a lot of people like that, know. So that's how I kind of started.
So that was the beginning angle.
Yeah. And then followers, of course. Yeah. Nobody just does it for the kindness of her heart in the beginning. I was like, man, if I do this, I'm going to be big. But I did learn a lot of things, down the road that it's all about, the value that you bring to people. It's not really about who you are. Because how many creators are out there in the world?
So many, especially today.
Yeah. So you got to put out value, and you got to put it out to where you're not expecting anything in return.
So for those who are listening, how would you advise someone if they're putting out content and they're trying to figure out how can I add value to my audience? Where would you tell them to start? How does someone figure out how to add value to an audience?
That's a great question. First of all, I'll say study the area that you're in. So if you're a vlogger, you got to study everybody that's doing exactly what you're doing in your area.
Competition.
Definitely. See who's killing it and see who's not. And see the underdogs, why are they not killing it? So when you find the mistakes between these two, you will know your own mistakes.
Right.
Don't be overconfident. Try everything, even if it works, if it doesn't work, because people will tell you what they like. Believe it or not.
Yeah, they do.
Now we're in a age and time where you gotta listen.
You have to.
And that was a mistake for a lot of people.
So when you started looking at your competition, what were some of the biggest things that you noticed that people who are winning were doing and people who are losing were doing in your kind of area?
Well, to begin with, I didn't have a competition because I was basically starting with, I don't know, what am I going to do? I was literally this guy who, okay, people knew who I am now. I have no clue on where should I start. Right. So my friends were like, oh, do pranks. You get views. Oh, wait a second. Do the videos where, you get a girl and, teach her a couple of Arabic words. It will hit big in the Middle East. Oh, do this, do that. And then as I was listening and receiving all these advice from all these people who have no clue about social media, I was like, what do I want? Yeah. And I started looking at people who are famous. I started looking at people who I used to watch, and I was like, none of them actually interest me, but I picked up a lot of values. And those were never put out content if you're not giving people value in return. Like, why am I even watching you? Totally. Totally. Why are people even watching this podcast? Right. There's value. So if you're not putting out value for free every single video, I'm just not gonna subscribe.
So how have you found... What's the value that you found that you're putting out?
Perfect. So I started with, okay, I'm about to graduate. I'm a college student. What experience do I have in life? A lot of people look like, who is this guy? He has nothing, he has, yeah. So I was like, okay, let me talk about past experiences. Totally. So I think my second or third video, my second video was the story of how I broke my arm. 153,000 views
of how you broke your arm.
Of how I broke my arm. And people until today was like, dude, that video of how you broke your arm was crazy. I'm like, why do you even watch that video? Like, it makes no sense. It's simply because it's an experience. So people who actually have broken their arms, they relate. people who literally just broke their arms are like, oh, so this is how you recovered. So for me, it was just like, let me put out a story because I have nothing else to do, but it has to be an experience. I can't just be making up stuff.
Something up.
Yeah. And people were like, wow, this is so cool. You know, you're so good in telling stories.
Yeah.
I'm like, me telling stories? I never knew that. So after that video, I was like, people love hearing stories from me. Cool. So I integrated that into my videos. I have like, I think there are 10 videos of different stories.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always.
People love, humans love stories.
Definitely.
We are motivated, are convinced. We live our lives based on stories and narratives. I recently released a podcast about facts versus stories. And the podcast was talking about the O.J. Simpson case and how it didn't matter what the facts were. It didn't matter that there was DNA evidence and everything. It was that the defense told a better story and people believed and they had the right audience. They told the right story to the right audience and it resonated. And because of that, people went with the story over the facts.
That's how the show, what was it? How to Get Away with Murder is all about. Yeah. It's like, we don't care about what actually happened. It's what you can convince people.
Totally.
You know, so.
Based on just how you said, like, people who have broken their arms, they all of a sudden feel like they can relate. Yeah. They feel like they have some sort of emotional bond with you now because you shared that story and they share that in common.
And people who never experienced that, they were like, oh my God, we didn't know it was so painful, the story. Like most of the comments were like, wow, it was like if we were there at that moment. So for me, it was like, wow, you know, because I was talking out of heart. I'm like, guys, and I literally like I illustrated, there was like a table and I jumped on it and I acted like I was in the hospital, like the hospital bed. And I was like, the doctor came and he pulled my arm out and I was like, oh. So people were like, oh my God, we felt your pain. So for me, I was like, you know, maybe I'm good at this.
So that clicked. So that caused you to say, hey, I'm good at telling stories. People like hearing stories. And I think people, when we talk about adding value, I think oftentimes we can forget that entertainment and just filling someone's day with some sort of emotional bond.
It's a whole genre.
That actually is adding value.
Definitely. I mean, nowadays, it's one of the biggest money-making sectors in the world.
I mean, why do we like sitcoms?
Yeah.
It's entertainment. It's a story. Like that's why Seinfeld was so big. It's a show about nothing. This is why reality TV, why Snapchat is so big, because it's just snap photos of their lives.
Exactly. Nowadays, it's all about how humans can relate to other humans. You know,
connectivity.
Basically, this is how it is. So you have people who are from India who speak in Hindi, but you know they have like English subtitles, and they'll be like, "Oh, dude, this guy knows so much about IT and MIS and this and that." So you know, nowadays it's literally social media it's the thing.
It is totally revolutionized.
2019,
revolutionized our world. So stories are one of the big value adds. What's another value add that you might say that you bring?
A lot of people were asking me, how did I travel a lot at a young age? I was like, yeah, I've been to like 28 to 30 countries. Oh, how did you do that? Oh, he must be rich.
You're right.
He must be loaded, you know?
Right.
And it's like, how did I even make it to Denver? You know, you're like we were saying earlier, like, hey, you know, cool, I'm coming. So a lot of people on Snapchat, on Instagram, even my YouTube channel, they're like, dude, this guy, he's acting as if he's like poor. But he's loaded. You know, these YouTubers are loaded.
People are actually saying that in your comments.
Literally, like I'll get DMs all day. It's like, bro, stop lying. We know, like, where's that Rolex? Why are you doing this? Like, here, to jump on another story real quick, I was on campus once, and I had a 2003 Mazda beat up car that I bought from a friend of mine, and he's like, yo, Flood, what's up? I was like, what's up? He's like, is this your car? I'm like, yeah.
This is here in Houston?
Yeah, I used to own that car. Yeah. And he's like, is that your car? I'm like, yeah. It's like, bro, stop playing. I'm like, dude, it's my car. oh, okay, well, see you around. He couldn't believe it.
Oh my
He
gosh.
couldn't believe it because he's like, I always see you on Snapchat, I see on Instagram, you're doing these cool things. Why are you driving this car? I'm like, bro, this is how I afford to do things.
Yeah.
I don't care about materialistic stuff.
Right.
I don't care about a 2019 Dodge Charger or, a $5,000 watch or a chain or, for me, experiences is what I live for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been to many states. I've traveled a lot because this is where I see the value in.
Yeah.
So that's where my money goes.
To put your money because of value.
And because that's what my dad, basically brought me up on. Like from a young age, 11, 12, we literally went all over the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Like I can name the cities that we didn't even go to because he always was like, guys, traveling brings you knowledge, experience, interaction with people, culture. And when you know that, when you're older, believe me, you're going to have so much benefits.
It's true.
So for us, we were just having fun. But
you didn't realize your dad was expanding your worldview.
Definitely. I was 17 when my dad left me in Malaysia. For some people, like, 17? What?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? No way. But because of traveled at a younger age, my dad was so confident. Like, yeah, man, my son got this.
Wow.
We used to do martial arts when we were younger.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so we did Aikido. We were like, doing a little bit of thing here and there. We were always out and we were always traveling. So my dad was like, yeah, man, Mohammed is good. I know he's gonna, just survive on his own. Yeah. And now in Houston, it's me and my two younger brothers.
And you mentioned yesterday we went snowboarding.
Yeah.
And watched the vlog to see how successful snowboarding was. The link is in the bio or in the show notes.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness.
Look at my face and that will tell you what happened.
So red, so exhausted, so fun, so funny. But yesterday you mentioned something that I thought was really interesting. You said something along the lines of that your dad just kind of like throws you out there and just it's like sink or swim. I don't remember the exact words, but can you how does your dad kind of push you and your brothers into the world?
So I remember a couple of the stories that my dad used to tell me back when he was in college and how his parents used to be always supportive of his goals. Mm-hmm. So, I want to travel. I want to go there. And I think when my dad was in middle school, he used to live in Latin America. So for him, that, was different than every other American.
Right.
So he got to learn about more cultures and religions and cultures. So he's like, I want to make sure my kids are not the ordinary, okay, yeah, we're American, we're proud to be American, and that's it. And, we're kind of a show off in the Middle East just because, we're better than everybody.
Weird.
He would always say, like, astaghfirullah, like that you need to always humble yourself.
Yes.
But in terms of knowledge, you always have to try to be, better.
Yeah.
So traveling at a younger age and putting us out there to prepare us for the world. So my brother is 16, 17 years old, and not a lot of people know this, but he actually dropped out of high school.
Really?
Just because he convinced my dad that, hey, high school is not for me. I want to be a filmmaker. And you remember, like we were saying before we even start, that my brother used to teach me how to edit my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And we saw that fire in him to the point to where we were like, wow, yeah, the kid will actually be wasting his time. I know a lot of moms here are going to be like, what do you mean wasting his time in high school? But he was so motivated to doing like cinematography and photography, and like you'll have a 16-year-old who wants to go to Six Flags, which is like a amusement park. Where for him, he wanted lenses and camera equipment and lighting and
he was giving himself to his craft and he was growing in his skill.
So the way our parents, contributed into this is like, okay, every time you do something or you pass an exam or something, we'll send you the money to buy this piece. It wasn't like, hey, yeah, here's $10,000, buy whatever you want. No.
Right.
So
Just
you
work
have to
for it.
earn it.
You have to earn
You
it.
have to earn it. And you have to prove after you earn it that you still, you know, you're progressing to where, okay, if this doesn't work, you're going back to high school.
Right.
You know, it's not like, oh, well, figure out and love, good job and pat in the back and he'll figure it out. No, I mean, your parents are not rich to the point where you're going to, you know, just if it works, if not, I'm just going to go, you know, live with my parents' money.
Right.
No.
No way.
But that motivation itself for me, the way I see it nowadays is that if you think yourself that, okay, I can do it, there's nothing else in the world can stop you.
I've noticed in the short time that we've spent together, and even just in our conversation so far today, that you're not really a person that has a lot of entitlements, right? All across the world, it doesn't matter what culture, what religion, what nation, what city, what social economic position you're in. It seems as though we're in a generation where so many people feel incredibly entitled to whatever they're entitled to, whether it's money, whether it's a job, whether it's a certain status of life, things, stuff, fame. They feel like the world owes it to them, that the government owes it to them.
Yeah.
But there have been moments time and time again through our last 2 days together where I've noticed like I don't know about nothing, but there seems to be very little to no kind of entitlement within your DNA. Would you say that's true? Would you say that because it seems like you're a person that works and you realize that the world owes you nothing.
Well, for me, I see it the other way around. If you actually think that the world owes you anything, then, oh boy, you're in trouble. Rather than living on what you exactly said, I'm free. I will never do anything wrong. And if it's wrong, it will only harm me. It will not harm anybody near me. So the way I see it is just go for it. And labels don't really make sense to me. I don't really care. I'm not doing this for the entitlements. Right. I'm not doing this for. I'm not lie and say I'm doing it for the money. Or of course, we all have our own, you know, things that motivates us. But it's not like if this doesn't work, I'm a die or something. You know, I'm into a lot of things.
Right.
You know, and I put the same equivalent energy in all of them. You know, to where I know something will end up hitting. And when that hits, I'll jump on something else because I don't want to just, you know, be entitled to like, okay, this is just what I do. I want to be the guy that does it all. I want to be on the news. I want to be on TV. I want to be the guy with the degrees. I want to be humble.
But you don't feel like you said, you don't feel like the world owes it to you.
No.
And so where did that come from? Did that come from your dad as well, growing up?
I feel like it's the way that I grew up. Both of my parents like left a lot, you know, sacrificed for us. So for me, it's like, why am I even showing off? You know, where my parents did such and such. Why did certain people in my life who are better than me, but they were so humble. So for me, I look at it in a way of cockiness if I'm actually saying, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, because I did this small certain things. Right. I didn't do anything yet, you know?
Right.
I mean, for small things like when I say the word nothing in front of my dad, and he's like, it's not nothing, it's anything, you know, because he's an English teacher. So he always like corrected me on these things. So when I said certain things, I remember, hey, my dad taught me this. When I try to like give back, I remember my mom saying like, hey, don't look at people who are better than you. Look at people who are below you or in your level and always be thankful. So it's just a mix of both cultures from where my mom came and my dad together and my experiences in life and me just being the guy of like, am I Arab or am I American? You know, that doubt in me made me adapt to both cultures in a 50-50 way to where like I simply just take the good of, I think I take the good of both worlds, you know? So yeah, I'm kind because this, oh, I'm good in this because of that. Like when it comes to timing, I'm the guy, if you're late 5 minutes, you might not see me again.
Really?
Yeah, but make sure I tell you we're going to meet at this time. If I keep dodging it, we did not set a time.
Right.
But if I say 10 o'clock and it's 10:25 and you're not in the hospital, we're having issues. Because my dad always made sure we respect that.
Right.
Why? Because that was the American side.
Of culture. That's
that was the American side.
But if you don't set a time, then it's like,
if I say I'll see you later tonight and you keep hitting me at 6, 8, 9, 10, I said later tonight. I did not say when, so stop bugging me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I'll let you know.
Right.
But when it comes to like things like sharing and caring, you know, I always look at my mom. So if I get this coffee,
Eastern culture crushes hospitality.
If I buy this coffee
West.
and my friend also has a coffee and he spills his, I'm not going to be like, well, bro, that's your problem.
Sucks to be you, bro.
Yeah, you're going to take half of mine. It's just, you just have to. It have to.
Totally.
But the American side is going to be like,
Americans do not understand hospitality.
Bro. Too bad. That was so dumb. Like, why did you trip? You know?
Yeah, when we moved to the Middle East, my wife and I, we were just like floored by the level of hospitality that we witnessed. And we're like, oh my goodness, we do not know real hospitality in the West.
Oh yeah.
That is, I mean, it's off the charts.
You can't even like describe it. Like there's just no words.
No,
literally.
There's really not. That leads me to my next question. And it's a kind of dovetails with the question that you asked off stage before we started, which is, so why did you start this podcast?
Yeah.
So why did I start this podcast? This is going to dovetail into the question to set you up for a home run, because this is totally your wheelhouse. When we moved to the Middle East, we were in Oman, and it was like Bedu, you know, like everything's like Kendora, you know, it's like total Bedu. And so that was like my first, like, okay, this is Arab culture. Like this is the Middle East. This is amazing. I love it. It's awesome. Really went through a lot of.
It's different from what you imagined, right?
Maybe in some ways.
Because all we know, desert, camels, and tents.
Yeah, it was desert, camels, but not tents.
And oil.
Yeah, oil. There was not oil. So I mean, we weren't in a big city at first. So it probably lined more up with kind of the. I mean, I grew up like you, moving a lot, and my dad was a pilot, so because of that, we had traveled for his job. So I had a really broad worldview. So I knew that, okay, they're not living in tents, right? I lived in Papua New Guinea.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. And people would always be like, oh, do you live in a grass hut? And I'm like, no, like, hello.
What?
So, but it definitely set an expectation of what the Arab world was like. And then I moved to Kuwait, and wow, that was a shocker. It was like, whoa, I thought I knew what the Middle East was like.
Yeah.
Kuwait was this clash of like really liberal and really conservative.
Definitely.
And it was like, what is going on here? Most of the people were more in touch with pop culture than I am, more in touch with style and music and everything than I am. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Am I in the right place or what?
Like, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then in about a year ago, I started looking around and saying, okay, Arab culture has changed for the under 30, under 35. It's shifted. It's a different world. What is that world? Who is the neo-Arab, right? Who is the new Arab that is emerging in the Khalij? What are they like? How do they think? You know, as a marketer, like I need to know
details,
the audience that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Like, and
so
as a
cool.
person who's curious about culture and people, I'm like scratching my head here. I'm like, wait a minute, you're listening, you're wearing a Kendora, listening to Drake, driving a G-Wagon, but you drive it out to the desert to hang out with your camels.
Right.
like
that cost as much as that G-Wagon.
Or more with your Falcon, right? You know, it's a little bit of hyperbole there, but for sure that exists. So it's really, you know, as someone who really loves people and cultures, and I'm curious about that, especially living there, I started asking, you know, the things that you read in books that were written in like the 70s or 80s. You're like, that's like out of date.
Right.
Who is the third cultured? Because as it is, it's Western culture has immigrated into through our phones, the Middle East. What does an Arab look like today? And you are like the quintessential mix, almost coming from the opposite side.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what do you see happening in Saudi, in Kuwait, in Bahrain? Like, what do you see happening in young Arab culture today? How would you define and describe the neo-Arab of 2019?
Well, that's kind of a very hard question, but I'll try to answer it as best as I can.
You'll be graded. Pass or fail.
Wow.
It's multiple choice.
The way I see it is that 20 years ago, things were totally different from today.
Yeah.
As we see in social media and in news and in general, I don't want to per se there's more freedom now, is that people are getting to see different views from different areas of the world. Like when you ask anybody in the Middle East, what do you think of America?
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody who's not educated, they'll say military, power, money, you know, strongest country in the world.
Right.
But when you ask somebody who, you know, is educated, their answers will be different. So nowadays, I mean, if we're talking about Arabs in general, is that your question? Like
under 35,
under 35,
under 25 even.
Yeah. So there's it's like a race. Everybody's trying to be the best version of themselves, and they look at the westernized world as, oh wow, they're at the top already. They already have things figured out. Where for us, you know, it's like in every country says, oh, our education system is so bad. Our education system. I'm like, tell me, where's this country that one person will own to? It's like, yeah, our education system is great. So in the Middle East, they were always looking after, you know, Western civilization as in the new thing, you know, where, oh, like we were discussing in the beginning, people have those stigmas of, oh, they live in tents and in the desert.
Right.
So when somebody comes out and start listening to music in English, starts, you know, watching movies on NBC Action and NBC2 and things like that, all they're doing is having these stories. All they're having is these images of what the outside world is like. Some of them like it and want to adapt to it. Some of them, like now, come abroad and study.
Yep.
And
lots.
Yeah. And every person, like I said, I mean, this is what I do. I pick the good out of things and I leave the bad. So, but in terms of, you know, the Middle East in general, I feel like the world is a free place. You get to do whatever you feel like doing and whatever makes you happy. So people are changing and change is good.
Do you feel like that's, you said the world, but do you feel like that's also in the Middle East?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Look at what happened since 2010 until today.
So maybe specifically the Khalij. You know, I don't have a lot of experience like North Africa and the Levant. But like specifically in like the Khalij, how would you say young Arabs are changing?
Khalijis are considered to have family ethics are really important. Culture is very important. So the older generation, I'd say, will stick to the rules to where they don't want change because that's what they've been taught from their grandparents.
Right.
Where a 50-year-old dad who studied in the U.S. has a 20-year-old child who is studying in the U.S. So over time, you're going to have these kids who have been exposed to Western civilization, have been, you know, have been like coming back with different aspects of life. So things do change. But in the same time, Khalij in general, things will take time because they do pick what they like.
Yeah.
It's not just like random, oh, we're going to do this just because no, things are picked. You know, it has to fit their culture. It has to fit their atmosphere. Like if it does not fit, it's just not going to work. You know, so everything is kind of like hand-picked.
Everything's hand-picked.
Yeah.
What are the things that, like among your peer group in Saudi, among your followers in the Khalij, what are some of the trends that you're seeing people gravitating to on kind of a macro level?
Clothing. Yeah, so you'll have back in the day, everybody, like we were saying, they wear kandora or thobe, where people now are, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, you know, it's like an okay thing. We're back like 20 years ago. Like I used to be the only student in high school who would wear jeans.
Really?
Yeah. Why? Just because, I was not Saudi. So everybody would look at me like, why does he get to wear jeans? We want to do it too. So they wanted to.
They wanted to.
Yeah. But because it was a rule, you couldn't. You know?
Wow.
So for me, it was just an exception just because I wasn't Saudi.
So you see that in the youth culture, that there's still kind of like that hierarchy that's in place that's kind of saying like, no, this is the box, things aren't changing. But you see that the youth culture is doing what they want regardless.
Well, that's the thing with youth. With youth, they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
They just do things they like. And if it works out for them, cool. If they don't, if things turn out bad, they leave it. They're always confused. It's like here, even in the States,
It's the same.
Try everything, bro. Just try this, bro. Like you gotta try everything until you find what you like. So over there, they're just over cautious. They don't want to try something that's gonna harm them. So they just take forever to actually choose something.
So where do you think, and the reason I'm asking, and I think you do have insight on it, is because, you do carry both of that kind of mix of culture, both kind of that Western American culture and the Arab culture.
Yeah.
And you probably are much more of a mix than probably most Arabs are. But if Western media and influence continues to infiltrate the Khalij as it has been, I'm assuming that more and more people are going to look more and more like you. Would you say that's true or no?
No, I don't think so. It's simply because for me, I felt like this is who I am just because those are my parents and I have to follow. But in terms of like, let's say I like Japanese culture and I watch movies that are Japanese and I watch
J-pop and K-pop is really
and
big.
anime and I eat ramen noodles. That's just things that I like doing. But it's really difficult to, go deeply into the culture and understand their like how life is actually ran there, just because I like something. It's like saying somebody from the Khalij likes to listen to rock music. He's an American now. No.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm for
but
sure not
what I'm
saying
saying
that.
is that things take time, and nothing just happens like
Totally. I don't think anything's going to happen overnight. I'm talking about over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
I mean, we keep hearing that the oil is going to run out, but
what do you think about that?
Well, I don't think their oil will ever run out just because that area is blessed with oil. But they are definitely looking for different types of income because, I mean, everybody knows that's like the main source of income in the Gulf.
Yeah. We had a little bit of a conversation yesterday about, we were talking about education, which kind of already came up a little bit. And we were talking about finding, I'm thinking as a father, how am I going to set my kids up for the future, which is so unknown with automation and global economics changing. What do you think a 22-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 24-year-old from your experience, because that's what I like about you. You don't like to talk outside of your experience. You like to talk like, this is what I've experienced.
Exactly.
What do you think an 18, 20, 22-year-old boy or girl, guy or girl, can do today to set them up for success in 10, 20, 30 years with the way the world's changing?
Love this question. Okay. So you got to look at two things. You got to look at something that you really care and love. And you think is like, oh, I'm really passionate about this thing. And you got to narrow it down and pick a degree that you think can back up that passion, but not directly. So
unpack that a little bit for me.
Yeah. So for me, I was always good in sports. I always wanted to be, in sports. But my mom was like, no, what happens if you get injured? Oh, it's too late. You should have been 15 in an academy.
Right.
So it was always like, oh, man, I always wanted to be in sports. But to be real, I can't. So I started looking at degrees and, my dad being a professor in university, he was like, since high school, try to figure out from now. Don't do my mistake of I got into a degree and then they're like, you know what? This is not really what I want. I wasted time, blah, blah, blah. So I was always thinking, but I wasn't per se the guy who was really, big on education. I would go to class, listen. I would love the lectures, but I was really bad at test taking. And because of my grades, I always looked like the guy who just didn't care for school. I did. It's just that I never knew how to take exams.
Right.
I can literally stand up there and explain the whole lecture, but I can't take the quiz.
Right.
So I was like, man, what are my skills? You got to figure out your skills. You just got to know what you're passionate about and what skills that you feel that can benefit you and what skills people tell you, hey, you have that skill. Because sometimes you have skills that you don't even know of until people point them out.
It's true.
So I was like, engineering? Heck no. Medicine sounds nice on TV, but I don't think so. I want to wear the blue scrubs. I will look cool in them, but it's not going to work.
The hours.
Business? Everybody's in business, man. It sounds like a stupid degree business.
Right.
But what else is there? Oh, therapy. Nah. But then because I love sports, why not do like nutrition? I lost weight. I know what I'm doing. I can coach people. But there's no money in it. And then a male nutritionist? What? Doesn't work. Marketing? Everybody's in marketing, bro.
Everyone's in marketing.
Accounting? Numbers. Too much numbers. Too many numbers. And then finance came in my face out of nowhere. But it's all math. I hate math. I'm bad at math. I know how to count money, but I'm like really bad at math. So then I started looking at my goal. And what I was imagining what I want to be. Rich, in a suit, I can do anything I want to do in life. But how can I get there? It's so difficult. 18-year-old, you just don't know what you want in life. No. But you have that image that you think you have in your head of, I want to be there. So I was like, why finance? Well, first of all, you can literally work in any industry you want. Medicine, that I thought I wanted to work, I can't. I can work in an engineering company. I can work in a sports club. I can run a team. Why? Because I'm the guy who will hire when they start the company. And I'm the last person to kick out of the company because I'm closing the books.
Right.
But numbers again, I'm not good at math. No, sometimes in life, you got to suck it up.
It's true.
You just got to go
Most
there,
times in life.
Do it. It's 4 to 5 years. Hey, man, people before you did it. So it's not like you need a miracle.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out in your own way. So that's what happened.
So was it over a period of years that kind of you cycled through these different thoughts?
Yes. So my first year of college, you have to go through these prep courses, history and government and math and, and I was like, yeah, I have time.
Right.
I still have another year because you take 2 years of basic courses because I went to a community college first because first it was cheaper and second because I still don't know what I want because when you go to university, you kind of have to pick a degree.
Right.
But in community college, you don't. So I always advise you to start at a community college. Kuliya, So start asking questions to a lot of people who already have a degree. Why did you pick this degree?
Yeah.
How are the jobs doing? And, start looking at the lifestyles.
Yeah.
And one day I was like, why am I asking these kids? What do they know? They're just following what their parents are telling them.
Totally.
I went to Chase Bank.
So smart.
Went there, walked in. Hey, sir, would you like to open an account? I'm like, yeah. I was 18. I walk in and, hey, how do you like your job, sir? It's like, what? I'm like, how do you like your job? And he's like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, what degree do you have? It's like, oh, I don't have a degree. Like, what do you mean? You work in a bank? He's like, oh, well, I've been working here for 25 years. Back then, we didn't need degrees. I'm like, oh, well, I'm studying finance. Well, I think I will, and I want to work in a bank. And he gave me that look. Like, wait, what was that? I started looking into it, and, you know, I got from him that he didn't really like that job. So I was like, why? So I started looking more into finance and the areas that I actually like. So, you know, I ended up working for a law firm. And there was,
smart.
there was like a lot of financial aspects of it and how to promote things. And I was like, oh, so it's like sales. So this is like marketing and all these other. So business altogether, it's the same thing. It's just you got to be an expert on one thing.
Right.
And then I narrow it down to, you know, counseling. You literally just give advice for money, and not any money, a lot of money, especially if you're in the right place. And then after time, I was like, hey, wait a second. You know, this is when you figure certain pieces, you start, you know, putting them together like a, what's that game called? Like a logo, like a Lego, you know, you just put them together. Yeah. And then I was like, wait, I speak English, I speak Arabic. Why not work for a financial firm in the Middle East? An American company in the Middle East, or like a marketing agency. They're kind of big nowadays, and I can be the middleman. Oh, hey, listen, tell Ahmed or Ahmed, we need this and that. Oh, Ahmed, يقول لك يبغى كذا, you know, it would be perfect. And I'll enjoy my job, wake up in the morning, let's kill this.
I think that path to finding it is so mysterious, and you may not even end up in finance, but it gets you on that path down the road to a direction. But so many people, kind of like you started, you know, they'll sit in their bedroom and like try to dream something up, or they'll talk to their friends, or what I did, I just like, oh, this one, right? Yeah. But I think there's something to going to people who are 25 years in the field and starting to talk to them and ask them and see, well, what does that person really do? What does their job really look like? And internships, like you were saying, going and talking to people who you normally wouldn't talk to get an idea. That is a huge way.
But one thing that I kind of figured out for myself is that everybody has his own experience. So I had certain occasions where like, wow, man, this sounds amazing. But then I'll ask these same questions to someone else in the same field, and I'll get a different response. I'm like, wait a second, it sounded so cool. What happened? So you can't just, you know, you don't just buy a car immediately. You got to look at the features, the horsepower, all those things.
You got to do your research.
Basically. So
if someone's passionate about something, how did you take, you know, what you're passionate about and then apply it to, okay, well, finance will be.
Yeah. So the way I was looking at it, you know, finance, okay, first of all, I will learn how to make money. So that's good in terms of life. You know, I'll be managing, you know, people money, so I'll be good with my money. And at the same time, if I make money, I can reinvest in myself. So like I was telling before we even started, my first camera, I got a credit card, bought the camera, started making money on YouTube, paid that camera back. Right. You know, so you always got to look at things towards where I'm like, if finance doesn't work for me, you know, I have other things that, you know, I have experience on. That's why I started YouTube.
You look for a degree with multiple options of fields that you can go into.
Yes, because you will never, ever know where you're going to end up at. I have people who are have been telling me that, hey, I'm an engineer, but one day I was at a wedding and we were talking to this guy, and now I'm a supply chain.
Totally.
So it's like, what? So you got to put yourself out there. And you just got to be confident. That's one thing I feel nowadays kids are not really are leaning towards, is that confidence is not becoming a thing.
Right.
Everybody's just sitting at home playing video games, which is cool. But at the same time, you kind of have to, you know, put yourself in places that are not comfortable. And for me, I think in middle school, I wouldn't say I was shy. It was just that I didn't like to listen to certain type of people just because, oh, they're going to say certain things. But in high school and then when I started traveling, I was just too confident to the point where, okay, why is this guy not giving me any feedback? So for me, that's what kind of put me in all of this. Social media, school, getting to know people, friends. Like I can literally move to Denver and have 50 friends next week. Why? Because I just, you know,
confident you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, it's just there.
Not worried about what other people think.
Oh, definitely. So the minute you have that, oh, you're golden.
Let's circle right back around to where we started the conversation with you and your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So here you are. You already have 23,000 followers on Instagram from your little videos that you're doing, motivational, inspirational. Some guy puts you on 1.2 million views overnight. You don't have a YouTube channel. People are asking, where's this guy's YouTube channel? And you're like, oh, dang, I need to do something with this. Like there's a moment. What happened?
So I was like, okay, people actually like this guy that was in the video, who's me. I made a YouTube channel and I literally didn't even know how to do it. I YouTubed it and then
YouTubed how to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah. And then I even remember I misspelled my last name. I put 3 O's. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to change this. And then whatever. I started copying the link of my channel.
Did you post a video yet on that YouTube channel?
No. So
it's a dead YouTube channel.
It just had my name and I posted a picture of me. And
no videos.
Yeah, and I posted that video.
Wait, pause. This is, for everyone listening, this is what Mohammed Flood means when he talks about confidence.
Yes.
When he talks about putting yourself out there. Notice, he had no following. Well, he had a following on Instagram.
Yeah.
But 0 videos. So many of us, including myself, wait to like get 5, 10, 15 videos out there before then going and telling people that we have it. He had 0 dead channel. He put himself out there in confidence, not waiting.
I saw the moment.
Not waiting.
It was a moment.
Time.
I saw that moment. I was like, I don't care what happens. I just want to get a YouTube channel because they're asking for it.
So you made a YouTube channel and then you're like, if I build it, they will come, and you did nothing.
Yeah, just copy paste.
You copy paste.
Basically, everybody was like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Oh, he looks so confident in the video. He must have a channel. That's what everybody's saying. Where's his channel? I'm like, wait a second. What do they mean? They're like, oh, bro, you were good. Like, they liked you, blah, blah, blah. Where's his channel? And I was like, literally copy paste. There was like 3,000 comments.
So you went into that video with 1.2 million views and went to every comment of every person asking.
Yes. I didn't just spam people.
You didn't spam people.
Yes.
For those who were looking for who you were, you said, hey, what's up? I'm Flood.
Yes. And it had my name and everything. Basically.
Here's my link.
Yep.
How many followers did you get within the first week then?
So
with 0 videos up.
Yeah, I went up to close to 1,000. So I was like, oh my God.
Everyone listening hates you right now.
I know, right? I was like, yo, because I felt people were like anticipating that something is gonna happen after that video with the guy. So they were like waiting for something, and I dropped the video. I think it was like 9 days after, and I filmed it with my phone. I still remember an iPhone 7 Plus, you know. And I bought the stick thing, the selfie, and it went all the way there. And I was like, the video title was
scrappy. I love it.
It was "Am I an American?" Because all of them,
Hal ana
Amriki, because everybody's watching this video in Arabic. How's this American white kid speaking Arabic in such a accent that is just too good to be true?
Right.
And I tell it that way, and everybody's like, wow, he's so good in clickbaiting. I'm like, what does that even mean? You know? And fast forward, I'm like, what in the world? People are watching this, liking and commenting. We love this, bro. This is so crazy. Make more videos. Where do you live? How old are you? What school do you go to? Where in Saudi? I'm like, oh, what?
And you didn't have that sort of engagement on Instagram?
Well, in Instagram, it's slow. Where in YouTube, it was just like
overnight.
Whoa. You know, it's just, you know, when you just have this excitement of buying something for the first time in your life, this was like 10 times that.
Wow. Because
it's something that I've never experienced. But I actually didn't take that in a way where like, okay, I'm good, I'm solid now, I can just do whatever. That 9 days that I had to put out a video, it took me 9 days to put out that video. So even if you look at that video, I think it's the longest video on my channel. It's like 23 or 24 minutes. And I answered every single questions in these comments. And not in a way where, hey, question 1. No, I vlogged it. I did this and that. I watched so many vlogs to the point where people are like, oh, when did you start vlogging? Like, what do you mean? This is my first video. Wow. Oh, you must have other channels then. I'm like, no, why? You're natural.
Wow.
I'm like, you're just on it. Like, you've been doing this for a couple of years now. I'm like, oh yeah.
And do you feel like you had that experience from making videos on Instagram as well? That there's at least some sort of, I know how to interact with the camera and interact with an audience.
It was just, again, confidence.
Confidence.
It was just me like, I mean, a camera's not live. You can retake the shot a couple of times.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But I always had that vibe of, I got to make it perfect. As we were talking before this, like my brother who edits my videos, it has to be perfect. It just can't be like, yeah, whatever. You know, so we even got into trouble to where like I edit my videos now, not him, because he has to perfect things. Where for me, I just have to put a message.
Yeah.
You know,
I probably my core skill, how about I back up a couple steps? Yeah. I, like you, I had a passion of writing and I wanted to become a better writer. So I was like, okay, well, in university, I started off as a math major, and then I fell in love with literature, but I wanted to become a better writer, a better communicator. So instead of studying writing, I studied reading. I studied English literature. Wow. Because I'm like, what better way to learn how to write than to
That's
read,
crazy.
Right?
That's what happened to my dad. So he went to Latin and business studies, if I'm not mistaken. And then for his master's, he did linguistics.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
why he's an English teacher now, because he just loves, you know, English.
Yeah. So as a writer, that's probably my core communication method, I think. But like you, it's like I'm trying to get a thought, a feeling, an emotion. I'm trying to get something out there.
Yeah.
I'm not good at copy editing. So that's like making sure like the period's in the right spot, or like, you know,
the commas.
It's like, oh my goodness, please. But I feel like it's the same. It's a similar way. I get often, if I misspell something on whether it's Instagram or wherever, I'll get a lot of comments because people are trying to help.
Oh yeah.
Right. And if it's something that's like minor, I'm like, really, guys, come on. But to your point of that perfection. So there's a level of excellence that of course we need to have, right?
Yeah.
But after that level of excellence, you reach a point of diminishing returns. Where it's like once you're at 97, 98%, putting in another 200% to get to 99%, you're now at diminishing returns.
Yes.
And that is kind of what you're talking about too. If confidence is shipping, it's being like, okay, this is the date that this video has to be out. I need to get it to 95%, 96%. I'm not going to get it to 100%.
There's no such thing.
Because there is no such thing. And even in writing, you can always make a sentence better.
Definitely.
Right. So I like you, I'm like, okay, and I have to often overcome this, but I have to ship stuff. I'm like, realize, okay, it's not exactly perfect. It's not exact. I could probably shave, 5 minutes off of this podcast if I totally redid it all over again. But it's like you're saying, like, there comes a point where you have to ship stuff and get it out there, get it out to your audience, even though it's not
perfect
to the perfection in your eyes.
Oh yeah. And I'm at a point where, being an influencer per se, especially in this time and era, people look at you like you know it all.
Right.
Do
you feel like you know it all?
I definitely don't. But you gotta be really lenient and flexible and shock absorbing, because you are going, like, we didn't talk about this at all, but you are going to get a lot of hate. You are going to get a lot of, what's this guy doing? You are going to get a lot of, why did you miss this word? Do
you get a lot of hate?
I don't get a lot of hate. I get a lot of advice, which I think is hate. So you'll get a lot of people who will give you an advice in a way of like, this is what I mean by this, but they actually don't mean what they actually mean.
Can you give an example?
I'll come back to that. So when you say that your followers are coming and say, hey, you misspelled this word, they're waiting for that moment that you do something wrong, just because sometimes of the kindness of their heart, they're trying to show that, hey, we care.
Totally.
We do care. But sometimes when you get it from different, see, if it comes from one person, you're like, oh, this guy, is actually like,
right.
Come on. But if it comes from different people, for you, they all really are trying to help you. But you as a one person, as a one individual, you keep getting that same advice over and over and over. It gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Right.
If you keep getting that advice every single day, it's like, man, come on, just be, just say thank you for whatever I put out.
Right.
So you get to a level where you got to back off a little bit and realize that, hey, I'm not perfect.
Totally.
If I'm trying to be perfect, I got to take more time into putting out things. But in the same time, we're not in a world where you got to, you don't have time nowadays. You got to put stuff. So like we were saying before, nowadays it's not really more about quality. You just got to put things out, waiting for something to hit.
Yeah.
Because, sorry, this is how social media works.
Right. So I like what you said, and I've thought this too. I think I might have shared this already on the podcast. I've realized that when someone is correcting, a spelling mistake, it is not because they're hating on me. It's because they are paying attention and they want to be helpful. Do you know Seth Godin? You heard of Seth Godin?
Yeah.
I was reading his book once. I think it's called The Bootstrapper's Bible, and a chapter had YOU space YOU, like a simple typo. I'm like, oh, I should email Seth and let him know.
Oh my God.
That his book. And so he's like, yeah,
I'm that guy now.
He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna like pull the book and change it and put it back out there for a simple typo. And I was like, yeah,
what?
Of course. Duh. I wouldn't either. But I realized I felt embarrassed.
You had to do it.
I felt embarrassed afterwards, and I reflected. I'm like, okay, why did I feel so compelled to email him? And I realized it was, I read his stuff. I love his stuff. I listen to his podcast. I think he's amazing. And I realized I wanted some sort of point of connection. I was looking, how can I engage? What can I say? What can I comment? And I realized me giving him a piece of correction was because that's the only way that I could figure out how to
say hey.
How to say hey.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was say hey, but I didn't have an excuse. And so I've grown an empathy for when someone's reaching out to me and saying you have a typo. It's like, oh, they want to say hey,
but they just don't know how.
But they maybe just don't know how. So if that's you, just send me a message, say hi. Even if it's just hi.
But even if you actually put out, like I'll have sometimes where on Instagram, I'll put out a post.
Yeah.
And I love what Instagram is doing now with the polls. So you'll have either click here or here. And I look at the interaction. It's amazing. Like you'll have like 5,000 people picking a side.
Yeah.
When I ask that question, I'll get like 20 replies. I'm like, I need more. Where's everybody? Are people shy? Maybe they don't like me. Maybe. So that's why there's so many tools. And I feel like every tool works with different type of people. So you'll have like the strap where you pull and it shows you how much you love a thing.
Yeah,
and you have the polls, and now you have the correct answer tab. You put A, B, and C. And you'll see that with those, there's high interaction rate for some reason. So yeah, people on social media, they're really shy.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean,
lurkers.
Yeah.
I'm a lurker. I lurk. And there's so many people I follow and I lurk.
I mean, it amazes me how I remember one time, like this is maybe 6 months ago. For toothpaste, I buy toothpaste that don't have any fluoride. So, I made a video in the beginning. Hey guys, I'm in this like Whole Foods and buying this toothpaste. It's expensive, but hey, it's better for you. Blah, 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 whatever. Here's some facts. You want to know more about it? Google it. And then 3 videos ago, which is like 2.5 weeks ago, I made a video of where I got kicked out of my apartment. I have to live in my car. So I just bought the toothpaste from the gas station, like whatever brand it was. And there was a comment there that had 43 likes saying, "Oh, wait a second. Didn't you say that you only
Oh
brush
my
your
gosh.
teeth with toothpaste with no floor?" I'm like, "Oh my God, they still remember that?"
It's pretty impressive. They're paying that much attention to your life.
So I'm like,
Did you say thank you?
I was like, ha ha. What, like, what the? So now I'm like today's video that I just posted hours ago. This guy sent me a message on Instagram saying, "At minute this and that, your friend had a bug in his shirt." I'm like, huh, funny. And they literally like made a, like they took time out of their life. They went, took that video, screen recorded it, went back to my DM, sent me, and they made a video to where it has arrows of where the bug is actually going. So I'm like, okay, I need to be careful in terms of what's around me. It's not now only about me. Like I can't just be speaking
a bug on the shirt. I mean, like,
yeah, I
that's
know.
not even like an
I know,
error.
I know,
it's
but like
interesting.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Like I can't just leave my credit card on the table and I'm talking here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, believe me, it's gone. It's
Oh
gone.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't just be like, "Hey guys, yeah, I'm doing this and that," and then there's some like writings of certain important things in the back, or where I live or what street I'm on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, back in the day, I was like, "Man, come on, say hey." Now I'm like, "Oh no, it's a problem." So social media, it's a good and it's a bad thing, and you just gotta be the person that's like a sponge. You got to take in and out all the time, and you got to give that natural vibe. You can't be pissed on social media. You got to be really careful on when you're sad.
Right.
Because I've seen people who ended their careers for being too sad.
Like always, or just one day?
Like they'll have a day where, oh, my mom passed away. Okay, you're supposed to be sad. I mean, okay, we understand, we grieve with you, but then a week later, oh, I hit my car, he's crying again, and then someone stole this, and then they make a So all your
that was their whole life. It's
so
just like,
why? Because it gets views. So now all his content is going towards like, oh, guys, feel bad for me. So you gotta be really careful because people will never forget. Your followers will never forget.
I found
it's scary.
I find, there have been a few times I'm like really frustrated, and I'll like post something on social media and instantly I'm like, oh crap, that's there forever. I'll take it down.
Oh, I'll definitely
realize like I stay, U.S. politics there's nothing to really boil my blood like U.S. politics, but I just have I don't comment on it because it doesn't matter what side I might be on. Like any sort of comment, any sort of post about U.S. politics, it's an instant firefight.
And that's why I created a Twitter account. I had one since 2012, but I literally just started using it 6 months ago. Why? Because I would be on Instagram. I was like, man, I'm just like, you know what? I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Wait a second. If you hit post, you're screwed.
Oh, yeah.
Literally. Because people look at you. People don't care about who you are. They care about the image that you put out to them. It's not like, oh, I'm faking anything. But at the same time, if I'm bad, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm lonely, I'm not going to make a video, guys, I'm feeling sad, I'm lonely. No, I'm always going to try to put my best image.
Right.
So people see you for that. But when you get angry, you got to breathe. When you're feisty with things, you got to breathe. So in Twitter, people don't really care if you have followers on Twitter or whatever. You can just speak your mind on certain hashtags or whatever. So I started, whatever. I don't like one thing, boom, go to Twitter.
Yep. So back to your, YouTube breakout success story. On pre-interview, you were even saying how there's so many people who are like faking it until they make it, right? And you look around at some of your, quote unquote competition and be like, man, it just feels like they're just trying to like fake this sort of lifestyle. And you like, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm just going to live my authentic self.
Yeah.
Can you unpack kind of how that journey happened and how you then went from, 900 followers on YouTube to now 108,000 followers.
Okay, so
what are some of the strategies, the tools, the things that you've learned
so
along the way?
To answer your fake it until you make it, that works. That definitely works. I know people currently who started with that method and now they're really big. Like I'm talking, you know, huge. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, businesses do it, companies do it. I don't really care. If that's your method, cool. But for me, I was like, man, I want to do something original. I want to do something that is different, especially with the market so saturated. I'm like, I got to do things differently because if I'm trying to copy everybody else, then nobody would care.
Right.
So I'm going to start it with just being me.
Right.
You know, I don't want to prepare like I do for Instagram. I don't want to prepare anything. I just want to turn on the camera. I always thought of a topic and I'm not going to say I didn't prepare at all, but I would say like, I'll think of a topic and what I'm going to cover and just go from there. Take my camera and talk about things and then cut the good parts because that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Put them together and put out content. And when I saw people like sympathizing with me and, hey, we love how original you are and like you're true to yourself. There's no BS.
Right.
They're like, okay, we like that. We don't see that in other people. Like if you're hurt, you'll say I'm hurt. If you feel you're lonely today, you'll say, if you feel like, hey, you achieved something. So for them, they kind of related because all they see is perfection in social media. So much. How every person is so perfect and people look at themselves, especially younger kids. They're like, man, why my life is so miserable? Why does this kid, why this 15-year-old this 15-year-old YouTuber has it all and I'm living in like, you know, in a bad area in life. Why? So I was like, man, I'm gonna just be me. I don't care, you know? Yeah. So true. People related.
Comparison is such a killer. Such a killer.
It's good to compare yourself if you're trying to improve, but if you're trying to compare with things that you don't have, oh boy.
Oh man.
That's slow death.
It's like constructive criticism. It's like being like constructive and being like, okay, where is my content suffering? How can I improve my game? Versus, you know, he has it better than me, or she has it better than me, and my life is so horrible.
Yeah, and sometimes, hey, it's just you might be better than other people. It's just life doesn't work that way. Yeah, it's just true. It's not your shot.
Life is not fair.
Yeah, you gotta figure other things out. I mean, I've had so many videos that I took down just for the fact that I was like, man, I thought this would hit, but you know, just suck it up, move forward, you know, but in the same time, it has so much, it's funny. The videos that you don't think would hit will hit.
Totally.
It's like, man, what's the freaking formula? Like somebody,
there's no formula.
Give me something. Like I'll put this, I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. I posted today. Oof, man, okay. I mean, I never do that for every video. I make sure, you know, I put my time into it, but some videos you don't put as much effort as some other videos that you would think that would hit, and they'll hit. This is what we talking about, man. This dude, but I kind of found like some kind of you know, remedy for viral. You always have to be controversial.
So how do you do that?
I don't know. That's the thing. I still don't know. I just put regular videos out and I say certain things sometimes, and for some people they like, some people they don't like, and boom, I'm like, oh, I never meant it that way.
So you're not even trying to be controversial, but you're recognizing that when you are controversial in it, that those posts, those videos.
But now people use that for videos.
Right, they're just hacking it.
Yeah, now that's the key. For every other video, they'll be like, hey, what do you think of this in terms of that? Don't really stress about it, and then they'll continue. But they mean to put that in there just to make the video hit. So hey, if it's bad engagement, good engagement, the algorithm doesn't see it that way. They see that, hey, there's a lot of heat here. Boom, push it. Right. Push it. See if you like. There's this video that was posted 8 years ago saying, I think it was titled, I'm not sure if you've seen like American Airlines, something American Airlines, in the airport because of American Airlines or something like that.
No, I haven't seen that one.
There's this guy who has been stranded in the Miami airport for 15 hours because American Airlines, you know, kept saying, oh, your flight is in 45 minutes. Your next flight is in 45 minutes. Oh, we're giving you snacks there. Boarding is in an hour. And boom, it's been recommended for the past 9 years It has like, I think 6 million views.
Wow.
And until today, if you go to the comments and hit, newest comment, it's by seconds. Why? It's a story of a guy who's really pissed at the airport, and he's super funny. So you got to figure out who you are and what people want. If you're funny and you know how to talk and you're confident and you know how to be controversial, I think you will win anything in life.
What were some of the ones that like clicked? What were some of the ones that hit or clicked for you that grew you from, that started growing your channel 5,000 followers a week?
Okay, so my first ever viral video was the iPhone video. And that's when I learned about the controversial side of things, is that because I think 12 minutes into the video, Apple was giving out donuts and Starbucks coffee. So I said, hey, see what Apple is doing? I bet Samsung would not do that.
I remember that.
And I woke up next morning and the video had 30,000 views. I'm like, okay, that's normal. I mean, that's what my videos back then used to get. And then 12 hours, 60,000. And then in a week, 300,000. And then at that point, I'm like, yeah, it hit, cool, I'm good, next video, whatever. And now I think it has like 900,000.
Yeah, it does.
And if you look at the comments, it's all about, what the heck are you talking about? Dude, they're scamming you. You're paying $1,500 for this stupid phone. You're the one who's getting scammed by donuts and coffee, you idiot. Oh, boo, 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 all that.
So they're all talking about the donuts and the coffee.
And I'm like, y'all missed the 12 minutes before that of me like camping and the experience. And hey, I never ever camped for a phone. It's stupid. Right. I will tell you that. But I was like, hey, I'm a YouTuber now.
Vlog idea, yeah.
Let me do it, and it's cool. And that's when I met a friend of mine who's a YouTuber now, Isaiah. And it's crazy. So just because I said that one sentence, it blew up my video.
Could have never planned that or imagined that.
Guess how many subscribers I gained in a week just from that video.
22,000.
26,000 subscribers, bro.
Wow.
Just from that one video. And that's what we were saying before we even started. You got to work to where something is going to end up hitting without you even knowing it. You can't plan something to go viral. If that's what you're doing, you're going to drain yourself. I mean, Gary Vee said this like a million times. Yeah. There's no secret formula. Yeah. You just got to keep going at it. You just got to keep going at it. And if you're draining your energy thinking that the next thing is going to be viral, just quit.
Oh my goodness. And if you're living if that's like your end all be all viral, I feel like you're, at least for me, I understand maybe some people are just, they love to create videos and it's just for entertainment's sake. I had a podcast maybe a couple months ago now that was talking about, are we so consumed with the numbers? Or are we satisfied with like the one viewer? And how we have to really love our craft to the point of doing it. Yes, we need to be worried about the numbers. Yes, we need to strive for excellence. Yes, we need to figure out how to get content that really engages with our audience, because that's what we're creating it for, our audience, right?
Definitely.
That's needed. But then there's the other tension. We need to live in the white hot center. There's the other tension of it. It's like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it for the one person that watches and listens because it's meaningful to me.
I'll agree and disagree on that because...
For sure. That's why I said it's a white hot tension.
Yeah, because...
I agree both sides.
Because if you are doing it for that one person and you're stuck with that one person, you're not going to get anywhere. And you're not...
It's not like a specific person,
I know,
one follower.
I'm talking about a person as in like, okay, 1,000 people, and those 1,000 people are the same 1,000 people. Oh, you're not growing,
right?
So... There's a lot of things that happen in social media that I hate using the word influencer, but like a creator does not talk about. Like I have friends who are really famous, and when I ask them about, hey, what do you think I should do? They'll, go with that, work harder, always work on your lighting. They will never tell you the truth. I just hate that.
What's the truth?
So the truth is, you got to see what's actually hitting. You got to market yourself. Money makes money. Mm-hmm. How? You got to spend money to make money. So I had a couple of friends who were blowing up, and I'm like, man, their videos are not that great. I mean, hey, guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. Are these videos viral? Like, how are they even viral? Like, bro, they pay money for like Facebook pages, influencer pages that have thousands of people that watch them, and it's like a monthly membership. So they'll pay this guy $150 a month, this guy $400 a month. They're investing on themselves to where, there's thousands of people watching them in different areas. So over time, that money will come back to them after they stop. People don't talk about that stuff.
No, they don't.
Like, you would come to me like, hey, bro, what's a good camera? I'm like, start with this. If you have the money, buy this. I'll be like clear.
Right.
But, hey, what do you think about ads? Hey, it depends. If you're just starting and you have the money, don't spend your money because you still don't know what you're doing.
Right.
But if you're plateauing at a spot where, man, I need more people, and how more people are going to know me if I'm putting out the same content? Well, you need new faces, pay money. Okay, I agree. I support that. So
have you reached a point where you're paying money?
Not yet, because I simply can't afford to. Because I don't want to start putting because it's not a $150 thing. You got to start with like $500 to $600 a month. And it's not a thing where you just do it 1 month and you don't do it the other month. It has to be, you got to advertise to where it's in people's faces. Yeah. You know, like Geico. You say insurance, you just hear Geico. You just it's automatic. So when you advertise,
a 15-minute call could say
exactly. So you got to be
branding.
You got to be smart.
Omnipresence.
Who do you pick to brand you? The value of the money. Are you paying money and you're getting views, and these views are turning into subscribers, or are they?
Because not every person, not every view is equal.
Definitely. So who are you? Who's actually having your advertisements? So let's say a guy who has 5 million subscribers in America, but your audience is like from the Middle East. Well, what's the point of that guy marketing your videos? It makes no sense. Right. So you gotta understand that, and then over time, you gotta find that perfect 2 to 3 pages that, hey, take my money. I don't care. Every month, take my money, because I know I'm doing something in return, and that's what all collaborations are for. Right. Yeah. And I hate when people don't talk about these things and they make a big deal out of it. Oh, secrets. They're not secrets. They're
not secrets. Marketing.
Yeah, it's marketing. It's literally marketing. I mean,
are you a part of any like some of those pages or groups where I know you mentioned there's like that group of YouTubers that came to Houston, you did like that collab, but are you part of a larger network of people that are ongoing promoting each other's content?
No, not really. That's a thing that I actually dislike, is that people feel like, oh, I can provide something that a friend of mine can't. For me, I'm all about joining forces, because in the end, man, people are the ones who are going to decide. Okay. Yeah. I don't care if you have 100 subscribers and you're trying to be on my channel. Cool. I'm not going to come to you. You need me, so you have to come to me. But I'm more than welcome to have you on my channel. Yeah. I'm cool with that. I'm not cool with people saying, no, man, I worked hard for this. I've done this and that for this. It's like, okay, be the good guy and help someone else. Totally. So what? People look at it as in, I've already got to a certain level of success to where this is mine only. You know,
goes back to entitlement.
Yeah. So for me, I'm like, man, that's just not right. That's just not right. Okay, if you maybe busted your what to build this business, of course, you're not just gonna bring a guy out of nowhere. Okay, this is the secret of everything, bro. Here, make money. No. But if you actually see that this guy's so motivated and he has nothing else to do, and you think you can actually help him, and hey, he can work for you, why not? It's a benefit. Yeah. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. Yeah. But people look at it, no, he's going to steal my ideas. He's going to go and open a rivalry.
Ideas are worthless.
I'm like, bro, ideas are worthless.
It's the work.
Yeah, exactly. It's the work. I can literally give all my equipment to somebody who thinks they can do it. In a week or two, they're going to be like, you know what? Forget this. I have a lot of people. The other day, we were volunteering at this one spot, and this guy's like, bro, I want to be a YouTuber, but I don't know how to edit. I'm like, what do you mean? If you don't know how to edit, figure it out.
Right.
Well, I didn't know how to edit. I didn't even know how to freaking... When I had my first phone, I didn't like that the camera was so close to my face. I hated that. I was looking at every other YouTuber and I was like, man, I like how they have that wide shot.
Yeah.
And I was asking my brother, Mohammed, what's that? They're like, it's an 18 to 10 millimeter. I'm like, how, man, it's so cool. And then I bought my Canon G7X and I was like, okay, how can I do that wide thing? He's like, you can't put a lens on this camera. I'm like, what do you mean? I want that far. I want it to be wide enough. And he was like laughing. I was like, man. So I had that camera for like 6 months. And then when see, this is the thing. You got to see the results before you take the next step. So I was like, okay, I think now is the time for a bigger purchase.
Mm-hmm.
I want that wide lens. So I did. I felt so happy and my confidence just hit the roof. Why? Just because it made me feel better that I'm getting that full frame shot.
Mm-hmm.
And for the audience, they didn't care. They didn't even note. Maybe they never ever noticed.
Right.
But for me, I'm improving.
Yeah.
But then you'll see people in the comments like, hey, the audio, this and that. You change it. And then they see that you changed it. Okay. That's good.
And that's, I think, going back to the hate stuff, there's a difference between... And I think maybe you were touching on it and we didn't finish the thought of when you hear something over and over and over and over again. When I hear something over and over again, I realize, okay, it's not that this product isn't made for them. They're my fans. They're my audience. I actually need to be humble, turn my ears on, listen, and make changes. So in some of my earlier podcasts, it would take me too long to go through their backstory. And I kind of miss it sometimes because I really love digging. I'm feeling sad that I didn't take 20, 30 minutes to dig into the nitty gritty details between 4 and 18 of your life in Saudi.
Yeah.
But my audience was like, it's just, I like your podcast, but it just takes way too long to get to like the who are you, and you never get to like the meat of their work. And so it's like that with the audio. It's like you have to realize and adapt and make changes, and you can't just be like, well.
But in the same time, the way I've experienced it is that I was listening too much. I was like, oh, I got to fix that because they said so. Oh, I got to do this because it makes them. So I was trying to please them 120%.
Too much.
Yeah, to the point where it became like a thing. To where in everything I put out, hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to. I'm like, what? Like, why every time they're kind of asking for something new? Why? Because I gave them that vibe of, okay, whatever you tell me, I'm going to do. So you got to.
Which at some point, then, when you sell yourself out so much, you become vanilla.
Yeah.
You become vanilla.
You will. And to the point to where there's no...
And then you're no longer controversial.
Exactly. And not that, to a point where like, man, I'm already so far into this to where if I try to show the real me, oh, okay, this is how it is. So I was so stuck up in the audio and lighting and this, because I didn't really know how to use a camera back then, to the point where when I started changing, they didn't like that I was doing things that comforted me, but they didn't like because I wasn't listening. I was listening, but I was confident in my decision rather than what they thought of certain things. Oh, why are you doing this? Why are you putting this light? Why are you doing? So I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not even a YouTuber here.
Oh man.
I wouldn't say I was, like cocky or anything. It was just confidence of I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Or like I said in the beginning when I first started, holding a camera and vlogging, my friends like, bro, what are you doing? Like, really?
Your friends are saying that?
Yeah, like you think you're going to be this dude? Like, yo, bro. And now...
How did you deal with that criticism when, you kind of you had a little bit of following on Instagram.
Yeah.
Which you could have some... They didn't care?
They didn't care.
And then when you started, you probably had a few, you started out with 900 followers on YouTube and started growing. But they just gave you crap.
Yeah, because for them, there's always somebody who's more famous.
There's always someone who's more famous.
Yeah, so they'll come to me like, bro, look at this dude. He's so crazy. He's so cool. I'm like, this is so dumb. Why don't you say good things about my stuff?
Right.
Like, hey, bro, did you see my last video? Or what video? Oh, remember? No, like, I'm a YouTuber now. Oh, you're what? I'm a YouTuber. Oh, cool, bro. Yeah, send me the link. I'll watch it. And then 2-3 weeks later, how do you like the video? I'm just waiting for that good feedback because I want to feel good about myself when I first started. Now I'm at a point where like, bro, I don't care, you know?
Right.
But before I was like, man, let me know. I'm so excited. Because
you want your friends to be
exactly,
excited
because I
with you.
care. And
but when people are so close to you, it's hard to get them to engage with your content.
But then, I mean, it's crazy. I got to a point where I wasn't sending them the videos anymore, and I wasn't like putting out content, and it wasn't in like a, you know, in a way to where how many subscribers do you have now, huh? Are you still stuck at 900? I'm like, nah, I'm stuck at 52,000, bro. What? I'm like, oh, you didn't know? Yeah, my last video hit 800,000. Bro, stop playing. I'm like, of course, you don't have the time for me. So whenever you have the time, bro, you can go and check it. You know, and then people around them that I don't know them, their friends are like, dude, you know him?
Right.
Dude, he's so cool, bro. He goes to my class, but I don't know what to say. Like, and then they're like, bro, that video was crazy, man. Let me know if you need help next time. It's crazy how people work. It is what it is.
Well, it's the same. There's a proverb, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's something along the lines like, you know, the wealthy, the rich have a lot of friends.
Oh, yeah.
But a poor man, even his neighbor despises him. It's kind of like, it's in some ways, if fame is a currency, it's kind of the same thing. And
especially nowadays.
Oh, man.
You can be like, I mean, the other day I was telling a friend of mine, it's not what you wear, not how you look like. In America, it's your credit. You can walk to a dealership looking like a homeless guy and have an 800 credit. And they'll be like, yes, sir, no, sir. And you can walk in with a suit and have a 580 credit. And they'll be like, sir, we don't sell cars here. But you're a dealership. Yeah, but we kind of, you know, we only sell to like businesses, sir. You know, they're just trying to get you out.
Right.
So social media is a type of currency.
Yeah.
And especially in certain places in the world to where, how many followers does he have? Oh, he has 500,000. Oh, bro, we can do business with him. Oh, he can be the face of our product. Oh. So now people in social media know that. So they're using that in a way to where, okay, I also got a benefit, not only in terms of views, money, fame, free stuff. So now it's becoming more of, okay, everybody wants to be in social media because they see, what's the word? They see, you know, the glamorous, amazing things that come with it, but they don't see the hate. They don't see the like, I have a lot of friends who are like, bro, I'm depressed. People think I'm amazing, but inside of me, I'm lonely. I'm afraid. I'm scared. I don't know, like, what else would I put? Like, I have friends who have like more than 300 videos on their channel, and they're at a point where, what's the next video? I'm waiting for the trend or something because I'm out. I'm literally out of ideas. I gotta do something.
Yeah. So
it's draining. And that's why for me, I'm like, it will never be draining because there's something always happening.
I think, and that's going back to what we're talking about with doing it for the one versus doing it for the masses. Yeah. You know, working to grow your audience and the tension of, well, do it because you love the craft, like you're doing it for the craft. And again, I think you have to do both as a holistic. But when you fall onto either side of the ditch, you're going to lose. But when you fall into that ditch of you're just trying to like, what's the next video, and you're empty, but you just have to keep the machine moving. Yeah. And it's death. And you somehow have to hold on to the purpose. And purpose, you know, in the West especially, it's the mainstream kind of push on society is live free of responsibility, live free of, you know,
do what makes you happy.
Do what makes you happy. But really that doesn't bring satisfaction.
Oh, definitely.
It is the willful embracing of suffering, the willful embracing of responsibility. Not taking necessarily responsibility, but taking responsibility of yourself, but that's the low watermark of responsibility. That's the beginning. It's taking responsibility for the malevolence, for the darkness, for the other people's pain and problems in the world.
Definitely.
And it's when we take on that responsibility willfully upon ourselves, that's where we find purpose. And that is the kind of the other side
That's golden. Yeah.
that we have, like, as creators, as creatives, like, we have to hold on to, because that's what got us in this in the first place, right?
If
we
you're
had
not-
something we wanted
If
to
you're
say
not
and do.
passionate about it, I'm sorry, but this is not gonna last long. This is what I always say. I mean, I remember a time where I was spending 5 to 6 days to post a video and working 4 to 5 hours a day, to the point where my parents were like, hey, you know, you got other things in life, as in school.
Yeah.
That's why we sent you there.
that
you
we're
know?
paying for.
Yeah. And now I'm at a point where I'm good at it to where I can get it done in a couple of hours in one day. I mean, every video I have is translated to 2 languages. There's no excuse. Everything I say is priced in every video. It's in the description. Everything that, I mean, I remember at a time where people were like, hey, we learn English from you. Oh, we learn Arabic from you. I'm like, wow, well, I can't not give them that.
Yeah.
So guess what? Translation takes me 2 hours, because I'm not trying to translate the word for word. I'm trying to translate the meaning, and I'm trying to put it in a way where if I'm saying, dude, this thing was low key, how am I going to put that in Arabic?
Yeah.
So I got to think deep. I got to write it, and then I'm going to find the right font.
It takes time.
It takes time. And I got to make sure it syncs with the words, and it's not easy.
People do not understand.
They don't see that. They just see the end product. So for me, the way I look at it, yeah, I'm suffering now, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
In the same time, I know I'm so confident that in the future, I will become a big thing, because I'm just doing something that not a lot of people do, if any. You know, I'm translating and making sure I'm putting out value. I'm like, look, my trip to Denver, I literally just came for this.
Yeah.
And I made a vlog about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I literally have a beginning and I have an ending, and it was all before, you know, I got here. I was at the airport. I was like, no, this is what I do for every video. I have notes, start, beginning, whatever happens in the middle happens.
Yeah.
But I have my beginning, I have my intro, and I have my conclusion already mapped out, because that's the idea of the video.
Yep.
And then I have, you know, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Okay, I'm going to meet this guy, Lucas, and we'll see what happens in there.
Right.
And then if I need to edit things, I'll do it. If not, I'll just put them together.
Yeah.
So I'm at that point now, where before it was just like pick up the camera and say whatever. So you just got to learn. You will always keep learning, you know, and that's how it is.
What would you say to someone who, you know, we touched a little bit on your story, and I think one thing from looking through your content and consuming some of your content through hanging out the last couple of days, your dad seems to be a hugely, like, a massively influential person in your life. You talk about him so much with such honor and esteem. Can you tell me a little bit more about your relationship with your father and why you hold, like, him so dear in such esteem?
I'm the oldest, so I've always been there with my dad, and it's actually in backwards. So growing up in Saudi and my dad living in Saudi, he didn't really adapt to the Arabic language very well. I mean, it's difficult for him. And I imagine it was difficult for you, and you grew up in that side of the world. Imagine going to the Gulf at like 35 years old. It's not easy. So I went
to the Gulf at 27 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought you were 27.
I'm 33.
So I remember, like, in middle school, when my dad needed to go to the bank, I had to go with him when we needed to go to the DMV, because back then the system was
ما في إنجليزي بس عربي.
No computers. The only English they knew there is like a hi and bye and cheeseburger, you know, cheeseburgers. That's it.
Yeah.
So my dad needed my help in terms of translating, not because he did not know Arabic, just because I feel that they didn't understand what he was saying, and at the same time, hey, Dad, he didn't have the confidence of, like, saying something and thinking that he might have a mistake. And you know how it is over there. The culture is like, "Ish gul tanta? What did you say? Where are you from?" You know?
Oh my gosh.
Over and over and over, that becomes like a thing to where I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I've always been close to my dad, and not just because of this translating thing, because he always saw that I was him in a way, but he wanted to teach me all the things that he did wrong, but he wanted to make sure that I was doing things in a better way. Like, no, not getting involved in drugs, doing things right, traveling. He always did travel. Traveling was good. My parents made sure I traveled. I have to make sure you travel. You know, all my hobbies were always like, hey, let's play ball. Let's do. So I was always in my dad's life, like all the time. And I look at things in, you know, in ways where, okay, certain things where my dad didn't do correctly. And like, let's say, I'm trying to think here. I don't know. I just zoned out of nowhere. But yeah, I mean, he's always been there. And I always felt like I wanted to show my dad that, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm not your average teenager. And I remember I was like, 11 when I start selling stuff. Like,
Really?
I always had this like marketing, entrepreneurial.
What were you selling at 11?
I think I was selling candy
That's
and
awesome.
something. Yeah. And then at 15, you know, when Ramadan is done and they sell rice outside. So I did that, and he was like, yeah, do it. And then it came at a time where I was buying and selling cell phones for some reason, just because I liked doing it.
Wow.
So he's like, hey, if you're doing it, I'm all down for it. Like, he never said no.
Wow.
You know, and for me, that was like, man, he trusts me so much.
It's huge.
To the point where I gotta repay him in a way that, hey, I made it. You know, so even now, like, you know, I look at myself like, man, I haven't accomplished a lot of things, but the way he speaks to me, it's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh man, the way he speaks to me, I'm like, man, I feel like I've done something, but inside of me, I'm like, man, I haven't done anything yet. But for him, he looks at it as in, I know you will succeed in life to the point where I don't even have to motivate you. I know you're already motivated enough to where you're going to kill it.
Yeah.
So him being confident in me, and this goes out to all the parents out there. I mean,
huge.
If you give the vibe to your kids to where, hey, son, or hey, like to your daughter, like, hey, I'm so confident in you and doing certain things in life, believe me, that
comes from the parents.
Far
it's huge.
Way. It's huge. Like, my dad, we talk like once a week or twice a week, and we don't talk about things or everything okay. No, we just go to the point, because he knows whatever is happening, I'll figure it out. You know, he doesn't ask for details. He just wants the sum of it, because he knows whatever is going to happen, I'm going to end up making it in a good way. So for me, that made me comfortable, and it also made me aggressive in terms of never waste an opportunity, because I don't have time to waste an opportunity. You know, just go out there. You know, so yeah.
I love that. It's the role of the parent, and you know, we've talked about, even the last couple of days, talked about how, you know, people should be free to disagree with one another, right?
Yeah,
that's like the beauty of humanity. It's like you can have a thought completely different than me, but that doesn't, like, I can accept the fact that I disagree with you, and you have a thought, and you disagree with me, and I have a thought. Like, that's okay. Like,
Definitely.
we don't have to say like, well, if you believe that, then I'll believe that too. And that's one thing that I love, just even some of the things that you've shared about, you know, pursue like what's in your heart, like pursue the things that have been placed in you, like pursue what you believe. Seek out truth in the way that you can find it.
Definitely.
I think all those things, and even how your dad, you know, pushed you out into the world and say, hey, you're 17, like, I trust you. And then just the confidence that comes from a parent to a child in saying, hey, like, I trust you. I got your back if like everything like hits the fan.
Yeah.
But I know that you got it. You'll figure it out.
And I feel like it's a 50-50 split. Like, my dad had the confidence of like, I'll figure it out. I depend on you. You'll do good. And my mom had the part in to where think things through. map things out. Don't just do like your dad, just go for it. No, like think about it, map it out. Sometimes, you know, things go slow, it's fine. You know, because I'm like my dad, 5 o'clock is 5 o'clock, you know. But with my mom, it's like, you know, think things through, don't rush things, see both sides. So it was the other side of things. So for me, when I tackle something, I take my Middle Eastern part and I'm like, let me think about it. Let me take it this slowly. But then when I figure it out, I go and switch to the American way of like, okay, get it done now. Yeah. So same thing back to my videos. I can analyze things of, okay, algorithm, okay, I need this, I need that. I write things down. Oh, okay. I get this from my mom. But then, okay, I got to take the action.
Then you execute.
I have to get it done. That's when it's American. I got to get it done.
I love that.
And I have to perfect it in a certain amount of time. And I can't just be like, yeah, we'll get done soon. No. Inshallah. No. It's going to get done. So I feel like I get the confidence from my dad, but I get the brains from my mom. I don't know how to explain it, but it just vibes together. And
I love that blend of culture.
Are you worried like my mom? Like I always think too much. And I think that's a bad thing, but it's also a good thing. But in the same time, I execute and I get things done like my dad. So it's like a here and there, you know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So I love kind of like that narrative, just how your parents had such an influence, and even how you're able to articulate and recognize with that level of self-awareness, the influence that your parents have had on your life. Yeah. Being self-aware of where we came from, I think, is so important.
Definitely.
In any day and age, but especially this day and age. And then we've also talked about your craft. And the thing that I keep hearing over and over again, as you've shared, it's this word confidence. Of this, I'm going to put my neck on the line, you know, sink or swim, pass or fail. It doesn't matter. I'm going to at least risk and try, because what's the worst that's going to happen? And in doing it with like, hey, I'll either regret doing it or I'll regret not doing it. I'd rather regret doing it. It's at least as far as like on the creativity. Like you're going to regret driving 95 miles down the road, like 95 miles an hour down the road without a seatbelt while texting your friends. Definitely. That's something you shouldn't try. But as far as like creativity, it seems like there's that confidence in freedom, seeing like, hey, just go out and create your business, go out and create your story, go like your art of videos or whatever it might be.
Definitely. A quick example of that. A year ago, a friend of mine, we were talking, you know, man, we got to get things done. School's not for us. You know, yeah, we'll get the degree. And I think this was my second month in YouTube. And I was like, man, yeah, this social media thing is cool, but I also got to do things on the side. And he went back to Saudi because that's where he's from. And we had an idea that we kind of both like connected on. I love how the sirens are in the background. And we were like, you know what? Let's do it. He's like, okay, well, I'm a employee, so I can afford it. How can you afford it? I'm like, you know what? I'll figure it out. So we're building an app. It's literally launching next month.
No, what is it?
Yes. Nobody knows yet, but it's going to launch next month. It's called Markets.
And by next month, probably by the time you're listening to this, that would be, we're in May, early May. So it'll be, it's launching in June. So if you're listening to this
June 21st.
21st, 2019, it's already launched.
Live.
And the link will be in the show notes.
That's awesome.
Keep going.
Yeah. So he's like, how can you afford it? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. For me, college student, it's a lot of money. We're talking $6,000 each. So, oh man, that's a lot of money. Yeah. Okay. You know what? What's a job out there that's flexible with your timing? You can do whenever you want and you can get paid on your own pace. Well, there's Uber. Okay, there's a Lyft. There's these. Man, they don't make money. I'm like, you know what? Let me do it. I want to sign up. Wait a second. I don't have a car that's compatible with Uber. It has to be 5 years or newer. So I'm like, man, I need a 2013 car. What? So guess what? I went out there and rented a car. for $530 a month. So that means out of 4 weeks, I had to work 9 days just to pay off the car. And then the remaining of the week, this is how I broke it down. A week for paying off the car, a week for gas, 3 days for insurance, and then the last week and a half is towards the app.
Right.
So I was putting zero money in my pocket working.
Yeah.
Just imagine that idea is so draining. But I was just so confident in this app that I've never even, I can't touch it. I can't see it. It's not even built yet.
Yeah.
But I just like, you know what? I'd rather do it.
What's the app idea?
So the app idea is basically selling used items that you use and you can like rent out. So if you have a drill and it's in your house for a year and nobody uses it, you can rent it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
it's like a rent platform.
Yeah. Or if you have like a set of tires that you don't use, people just can buy it off you. So it's like Craigslist, but for the Middle East.
That's awesome.
Basically. And we did our research and all of that and nobody had it. So like, you know what? Let's kill it. So yeah, I came up with the money and then my parents knew about the idea later on and it was final exams. I'm like, hey, I still have like, you know, like this amount of money left, you know, don't worry about it. And out of nowhere, but I was like, you know what, focus on your study. Here's the, you know, the remaining of the amount. And that's because after they saw that I'm actually serious enough to actually got a job, got a car, already went like 5 months. Yeah, it took us around 6 to 7 months to actually collect the money. For me, he had the money already ready, but he was still like he had a solid job. But for me, I had to like pick up my hours, actually drive the car to make the money because I make my own hours. And, you know, no sleep, barely like finding time to study and YouTube and working.
Yeah, that's a lot on your plate.
You know, so a lot of people are like, bro, what are you doing? It's so dumb. I'm like, bro, you guys are the same people who said I would never become a YouTuber, okay? So just chill. If it works, fine. If not, it's an experience. I'll put it on my resume. Right. It's cool. It shows that this college student raised money for this and that and an app. And, you know, I was talking to the developer in India and we had Skype meetings and stuff like that. It's a big deal.
It is a deal. It's a learning.
Yeah. And then, you know, now things are happening. We're almost done.
It's amazing. So congratulations.
Thanks. So just go out there and do something for God's sake. Yeah. Don't be this dude who's just dreaming, because I used to be a dreamer. I'm still a dreamer. Just put the word action and take action. Don't be like,
how did you find that action? What was that?
Because I was at a point in life where I have so many great ideas and I started seeing other people actually doing them. And I'm like, what? That's my idea. Well, it's not your idea anymore if somebody's already done it.
So it's like you were provoked in a way.
Yeah, so I was like, man.
You're like, dang.
Yeah, they're not better than me. I can do this too.
They just did the work.
Yeah, especially when you see the results. Like, oh, they did it and it boomed for them. Or they did it and they're making this. So for me, it wasn't always about the result. It's just because it was always about, okay, I thought of that too. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And when people look at those other people and be like, oh, they're so like smart. They're so, I'm like, what?
They put in the work.
They just put in the work. So I forgot what's the actual quote, but it says, just having a talent doesn't mean that you will make it. Hard work, I don't know if it's like something like talent doesn't really matter if you don't put the work into it, but hard work does not require any talent. It will end up taking you places. Yeah. So a lot of people have the talent. They're really good in sports. They're really good in writing, but because they're so confident in their talent, they don't put the work. Yeah. So I was like that. Yeah. I was like that. I was like, man, I'm so talented in this. I'm so talented in that. You know, I was like, I can do it whenever and it will hit. But then I was fooling myself.
Come on, bro.
And it's funny to where I was doing things that are not comfortable, that I'm not talented in, and it ended up working for me. Yeah. So it shows that it's just trial and error. This app might not work. God knows. But in the same time, hey, I did it. I wasted money. Yeah, but I learned, hey, you know why I was doing Ubering or Uber? I got so many business cards. I'm already guaranteed a job off college. Right. I had CEOs in my car. I had people who, hey, I wanted to do law school after. Now, guess what? I'm not doing law school anymore. I had so many lawyers in my car to the point where like, okay, no law school for me. They hate it. They tell me about the ins and outs of it. I don't want to be in law school. instead of getting into law school and then figuring out later on that I don't like it. So just
there's an ROI, even if the app doesn't work, there's an ROI
all the time
on that for
all
your
the
life.
time. And that's the goal. I'm never going to do something if I'm not gaining something new.
Yeah. So then in kind of closing, what would you tell people of a way forward to kind of take their life by the bulls, by the horns, take their life by the horns, take the bull by the horns, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say here. Wow.
Yeah.
It was a long day snowboarding yesterday. It took it out of us, huh?
I wish there was clips on this. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. So for someone who is, they are at a point where they're hungry and they want to take initiative in their life and they want to shape their future and they're tired of the passivity in their life.
Yeah.
What is kind of a way forward for them?
I remember I've read this quote once and I can never forget it. And it says, build your dream before you work for somebody and build theirs. So you either go out there and figure it out, buddy, or you're going to end up working for somebody, feeling sorry about the long hours, thinking about, yeah, you know what? My 401k benefits are great.
Yeah.
So that's why I even started the brand Motivation Force, spelling MOE-vation and then force. As in, whatever I do, it's not, I'm doing it for me and for people to look at it and be like, okay, well, he's a normal guy like me and he did this and that. So that's why I always talk about experiences. I can be the guy who's like, look at me, 100,000, got an app. People know me. I get this and that. But in the same time, I give you details so you can relate to where, oh, wow, okay, we can all do this. It all takes step one.
So let's say there's someone, they are surrounded by people who are negative, whether it's they're like, they're just surrounded by walls on all sides, whether it's in the things that they want to believe, the things they want to pursue, the jobs they want to pursue, the relationships that they want to pursue. I mean, khasatan fi khalij, like it's probably more prevalent in some ways because of like the real group think and the way the social structure is. Here in America, it's very individual, follow your heart, follow your dreams, but it's not always as accepted in the Khalij.
I think that's changing.
So you think it's changing?
Yeah, I definitely see that changing, especially when I go back and visit now. I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, where's this dude? Where's Ahmed? Where's Ali? It's like, oh, I haven't seen him in a minute. Last time we've seen each other was when you were here a year ago. I'm like, what do you guys mean? What happened to the gathering and going out? It's like, nah, bro, everybody's doing their thing solo.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm focusing on my thing. He's focusing on his thing. He's married. I'm busy. I got a car payment. So they're
But
changing.
within families, do you feel like even in family structures that it's beginning to break down into more individualism?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. Worldwide, I feel like everybody, I even see this in like my brothers. Like, yeah, we do all care for each other, but at the same time, everybody kind of have their goals. Like, yeah, okay, I love him, he loves me, but at the same time, I got certain things that I got to focus on because he's not going to provide for me forever. I got to figure it out, So I feel like even in that part of the world, things are also adapting because, as we can see now, like oil prices are not that good and people are like losing jobs. And a lot of people are like, hey, I have a degree, but I still don't have a job. So people are trying to like, what else can I do? How can I figure out for me? And when I'm there, then how can I help everybody else? Where before it was like, how can we all help each other? Where now it's like, well, that's not working anymore. We gotta help ourselves so we can help other people.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it too. You gotta help yourself first so you can contribute to the bigger picture. Where if you're try to help other people, you're not giving it your 100%.
So it's like you have to use the gifting, the talents that you have, and you have to work hard.
You gotta be cornered to where you feel scared to where you're at a point where I gotta give it all so I can do something right. Where if you're with others, you're kind of soft, you're kind of comfortable, you're kind of like, yeah, if it doesn't go good for me, they'll help me out. But if you're by yourself,
Right.
you're gonna have that day where you're like, bro, like I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I don't have a degree, I don't have money, I don't have investments, I'm not educated. What should I do in life? That's why now everybody's like, I need to get an education. I need to start investing early. I need to start finding hobbies that I like. Oh, I need to do this. I need to start networking with people that matter. Not anybody. I need to have a friend who's a doctor, a friend who's a dentist, a friend who works in a dealership. Now people are aware because the world is becoming, in a pace to where like you got to figure it now.
And you see that's changing in the college.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Especially with the students who study here and go back there.
Yeah.
There's this big influence that's going back home to where like, hey, people over there are like this. So you guys here need to figure out too.
Wow. So then, you were surrounded by people who were your friends, were very negative, and mocking of you with your camera doing your thing. And
we had some supporters, but
of course.
Yeah.
But what would you like for those people who are trying to push into a new area? I mean, in some ways I think of the story of your dad when he converted to Islam. Like that was probably very scary for him to push into something that was new for him, that was outside of his culture, that maybe his parents or his grandparents would really be upset with. But I remember the story that your grandma was like, yeah, if like that's what you have like
if
found,
that's what makes you happy, it makes us happy.
Yeah. And so, what would you like, what's the way forward for those people?
The funny thing is nowadays you just got to analyze things. My friends who were like, man, why are you, holding a camera? Why are you doing this? It's so dumb. It's because they see certain skills and values in you that they can't do. So those friends who see, oh, bro, you're becoming a YouTuber, they know that they're not confident enough to do what I'm doing, even though I didn't have the numbers. But they had an idea of like, oh, I know he could be something one day. So you got to be aware of these friends, and everybody knows their friends in a way to where, okay, I know this guy. So, but you got to also understand that they see something in you. And unfortunately, we're in a society where not a lot of people are going to go out there and say, yeah, bro, I've always seen you doing this. Or, hey, bro, I've always saw that, you might have this thing for social media where they'll have this like shield because they're scared. They're like, okay, what happens if he becomes famous? What am I going to do?
Right.
Besides school.
It's coming out of comparison.
Yeah. So, but that's in the same time,
insecurity. In
the same time, that's natural. I mean, I can't just go there. It's like, oh, you're hating. It's natural. Maybe there's a lot of things that I, said to certain people and they looked at it in a way, oh, why is he not supporting? Well, I didn't know you needed my support, so you can't always blame people, but in the same time, it's just, this is how we are. We're all humans. We make mistakes. And like some of my friends who were hating, now they're supporting. So this is how the world works. It's never perfect.
Yeah. So then, I'm trying to like land the question. I don't feel like I'm landing it very well. So I apologize. It's my fault. So then like for that person who is walled in, who, whether it's, something that they believe that they're afraid to tell someone else that they believe, and, or, wanting to be a YouTuber, like whether it's religion or, quitting your banking job to become a photographer or traveling to a new place, but you're bound by fear. How do you break out of that fear?
Your own fear or fear by people?
Fear by people, what other people will think.
You got to understand that in the end, whatever you're doing for yourself. You got to be a little bit selfish sometimes. And people don't see it that way. It's like, oh man, people will judge people. Yeah, but in the end, always the best part is we hear the sirens. But
welcome to Denver.
Right? But you got to understand that some things,
Let's hold that thought. Okay. This is really loud. This one's now rolling. It's doing
Cool.
better. It's a great interview.
Hopefully he made the flight. I have it on airplane mode. No, they're going deep.
Seriously. I'm sure he made it. It wasn't even rush hour heading that way, so he should have made it. There we go.
1 second. Okay. Here's the dog. This is so powerful.
This thing?
Wow.
Still rolling. Everything's still rolling.
Cool. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, back to that point. You got to be selfish in certain situations.
Yeah.
In the end, whatever you're doing is for your own benefit. You know, okay, if you're doing things like there's things that you will do with the family, there's certain things that you do with your friends. But if you're surrounding yourself with people who are always negative and you do know it's negative, it's your fault for staying there. But in the same time, a lot of people are like, I don't know, I'm just drained by them. You know, it's just, I don't know what to do. Just look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this to get a pat in the back, or I'm doing it to make other people feel like, oh, wow, he's doing so many great things. If you're not doing it for you to feel better about who you actually are, you have issues. And if you have issues, you have to actually, I don't know, like I've never been in that situation. I always was in a way to where if I have something that I feel people were going to judge me on, okay, how can I do it in the same way where they can't judge me? Like I'll be doing the same exact thing, but I'll just twist it to where I can still do the same exact thing without getting judged, you know? So just figure it out. Everybody has their own way of figuring it out, and you will not know until you go through all the mistakes and trials and error. Yeah. There's not a magic trick to blocking out the haters, and you just got to figure it out. For me, it was just owning to it.
Yeah, it's that fear, fear of man, being afraid of what other people think.
When I gained weight, so when I went to Malaysia, I gained like 65 to 70 pounds.
Wow.
So why? Well, I don't know. Food was super cheap, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, $4 a day, and good food. And all the people that I got to know were oversized, and all they did for fun was eat. So, I just got stuck. So when I came back to Saudi in the airport, my parents were like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? Oh man, it must be like, don't say anything. They said, don't say anything. So I got in the car, and then 2-3 days after, oh, what happened? You're a bit chubby. I wasn't chubby. I got fat. I gained 60 to 70 pounds. We're talking 258 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, at 5'10". That was huge. So they were scared, like, what happened? Maybe he's depressed. Maybe it's this, maybe that. And I'm like, no, I wasn't there. I was just eating food. I love food. For some reason, when I got there, I just fell in love with trying different foods and eating to the point to where I'm not just full, I'm stuffed. And then, I never thought of it in a different way until my friends were like, sit in the front. I'm like, why? Bro, you're fat. Okay. Oh, you can't come with us. You're overweight. Or the jokes in the elevator. Oh, it's only for 12 people. But there's only 5 of us. For them, I was like, ha, 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 whatever, cool. But inside, I'm like, man, that's mean. Wow. So over time, like, I would even tell my mom, like, hey, like, yeah, you remember, you go to the store, get me that shirt. So she'll get me like a size bigger and it won't fit. I'm like, why didn't you get me the shirt that I always wear? It's like, son, I got you a size bigger and it's not fitting you. Or when I eat lasagna, I love lasagna. I'll eat like 2 pieces and I'm like, hey, let me get another one. Mom was like, no, you don't need a third one. You're already like, you ate enough. And I'm like, no. Like, why? She's like, you gotta need to watch your weight. So over time, these things kind of like got into me, but not in a negative way. They got into me like, okay, there's a problem. Yeah. I gotta admit to it. Yeah. There's a problem. Why is there a problem? Is it because I'm eating too much? Is it because I'm not exercising? Or is it because am I sick? You gotta put
because there are thyroid problems where people are eating right, exercising,
exactly,
and they can't lose weight.
So I had it into where it's categorized. You can't. This is how you fix problems. You just don't Google stuff. You gotta look at your own issue first, because the Google is answering the general question.
Oh my gosh.
So I started looking on YouTube videos, not on terms of how to lose weight. We all know how to lose weight.
Yeah, eat right, exercise.
An overweight person knows how to lose weight. It's just they don't want to lose that weight, So I was looking at the the psychology of things. I was looking at supplements, even though a lot of people are like, oh, you don't need supplements. Like, I know, I just want to know about it.
Yeah. What were some of the psychological things that really stood out to you?
I wanted to do it not just to lose weight. I wanted to get fit, to prove to myself first and to everybody who's like, because it's a fight, inside of your own brain.
Yeah.
That, okay, yeah, I'm gonna prove myself, but you're actually like proving others too that, oh, you're fat, you're this, you're that. And then the funniest part is when you actually start telling people I'm going to the gym, and then out of nowhere everybody's a gym expert. Oh, bro, what do you like? What's your cycle? Do you do like bis and tris, or do you do chest and back? No, bro, what do you drinking diet soda? You need to do this, like. And then you look at that person, you're like, yeah, you're not too far from where I'm at. So I don't know where you're getting your info.
Yeah.
But exactly. And then what clicked for me is like a month and a half into it, and it's like drugs. People were like, dude, are you working out? I'm like, no, I was. Like, oh man, okay, well, you look good. For me, that was like, oh, wow. Okay, let's get it.
So you weren't telling people that you were working out, but you're doing it.
Because
that is my thesis.
Exactly.
My thesis, the moment that you start talking about it, it fills your stomach with that satisfaction.
Yeah.
You got to do it in secret.
Make people see the results and let them
Come on, bro.
Let them go crazy.
Yes.
To where it's like, okay, so he's doing something. I gotta know what it is, but he's not saying anything. Why is he not saying anything? So this is what I do on social media too nowadays. It's like, I don't say anything. I'm just like, oh, I'm here. Wait a second. He's doing a podcast with Luke. Who's Lucas? It's like, okay, here's a photo. I'm already in Denver. You're in what?
Right.
This is my new thing now. So I didn't tell anybody that I was going to the gym. And, well, my family knew. They're like, good for you, blah, blah, blah. Hey, you want 2 slices of lasagna? I'm like, yeah, I'm still eating good. I'm not going to deprive myself and go on 2 dates and a glass of water for breakfast.
You actually don't lose weight that way.
Exactly,
your body then retains the fat.
Yeah, so I was killing it in terms of the gym. I was still eating whatever I want, but I was drinking a lot of water.
Yeah.
So, I felt, I'm lean enough. I can run now. I can do this. I can play soccer because I used to be in shape. It's just this year, I just went a little bit to the left. And then I started actually seeing, when you're a little bit overweight and out of nowhere you start seeing veins and you go crazy. And because veins, like, there's like, oh, I'm vascular now. Oh my God, what the heck is this? And people, and you start showing off and blah, 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 and taking pictures and the before and after. So this is what I did. I remember my first photo on Instagram was a before and after. And it was crazy to me. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Do you have that photo still up there?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I think pull it up afterwards.
Yeah. And I was like, man, I've changed. It was only like 90 days into it. And then I started looking into supplements. Oh, you got keratin, you got whey protein, you got wheatgrass, you got BCAAs, you got amino acids, you got this, recovery, melatonin, blah, blah, blah. I fell in love. So from something that was negative, I almost went to college to do nutrition.
Wow.
Yeah, because I got so into it to the point where people who were overweight or people who were skinny were asking my advice on what should I do. Because in 6 months, from a fat guy to a 6-pack.
Wow.
You're going from like, what? And then when I moved to the States, I met this guy and he was in the military, and basically he had this warehouse where he used to like train these kids at. So we're doing all this like heavy bags, flipping tires, ropes, all body weight movements.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, from this kid who came back from Malaysia, overweight, to out of nowhere, he's shredded. I wouldn't say shredded like stay shredded,
right?
But for a person who's 260 to 175,
it's huge.
And everybody's like, he didn't just like lose weight. This guy got
transformed.
Boom. For me, it motivated me to where like, see, I knew it, man. If I put it in my head, I get it done. And yeah, it was negative in the beginning. Yeah, I got a lot of hate, got a lot of criticism, blah, 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 blah. But I got to where now I'm comfortable to where, yeah, give me the hate, give me the negativity. I need to know what you guys don't like. And if I approve of it, I will make it better. So same thing with social media. Give me all the hate. I can feed off of it. I'll do something better. So it's always been my trigger every single time.
There seems to be in your narrative, there's so much overcoming. It's, I just hear it in your story time and time again that there is, I don't mean this in a negative way, but there's just like this proving yourself to your father, proving yourself to
what does that have to do to my father?
Well, because you said how, you know, your dad invested so much into you and you wanted to, I think you said this, maybe I was misheard, but you like, part of it's like, you want to like, in gratitude, give back to me like, yeah, you raised me right. I am able to do this.
In terms of weight?
No, I'm talking about weight.
When I talk
not in terms of weight.
When I talk about my father, I talk about in terms of like, he showed me the way.
Yeah.
So whatever I do is just me proving to myself first that I know what I'm doing. And then the pat of the back that I get from my dad is that, hey, you basically raised me right.
Right.
It's not me proving him that,
I'm trying, for sure.
It's basically just me like, you know, for him, it's like, okay, I raised him right. And for me, it's like, yeah, I got this, you know.
Totally. Well, let me bring it full circle. Because then there's that weight thing. Then there's the YouTube thing. There's the Uber thing. It seems like there is this drive in you of when someone says you can't do this, you're like,
it's not about what people think. Is that I think that I still don't know my limitations. I love that. Yeah, I always think of myself of, man, I can do anything in this world. What else can I do in the future? Is what drives me to do all these crazy things. It's like, I don't want to, like, I always say I want to retire at 40. And every time I get older, that number kind of gets even lower. Why? Because all I'm doing is things that I actually like and love. It's not things that are just, I'm doing it for a certain person. I'm doing it for me. Yeah. So I want to get at a point of time where money's not a problem. I've already done everything. Now I want to give back, you know, and not give back to just, people who are in need, people who are in the same shoes to where I was. They got that passion. They just don't know where to direct it.
I love that.
You know, so I want to be like a consultant to people who have it. They just don't know where to go. Yeah. So for me, it's always about just figuring out who I am and what I'm capable of.
Totally. And what I thought was finishing with, I love that it comes full circle, because before you said so much of your confidence comes from your father in him giving you a pat on the back before you've done anything. Yes. Like saying, you are my son and I'm pleased with you, not based on what you've achieved, but based on who you are. I know that you're going to go and achieve that, but I'm pleased with you for who you are. And it seems like out of that comes this confidence, just as you said, of, I don't know my limitations and I'm going to push and push and push. And I think so much of that comes from our emotional intelligence, which comes inherited from our parents, how we were raised, coming from this place of I'm accepted, I'm supported, my parents are behind me, you know, I'm pushing hard for this Uber thing. And my dad's like, here, I've seen that you've like been putting in your all, I'm going to help. And this, what's the word I'm looking for? That confidence. I don't know, through this interview, you hear it trickling down from your father in this way of like, that instilled this mentality in you that I don't know what I'm capable of achieving. And there's way more that's within me that I've yet to touch, I've yet to untap, I've yet to unlock. And I do see you as, I see you as like starting some sort of training institute. I'm not really sure, but I do see you kind of gathering people and starting these kind of boot camps and these like training institutes that are really instilling into people
Never thought of
some of that mindset, some of that confidence, from an emotional intelligence perspective, from a nutrition perspective, from a health perspective. And I see multiple, like almost like a chain, not like a franchise, but multiple locations of a boot camp of sorts popping up to really help instill a healthy mindset of confidence in a younger generation that's really searching for confidence, right? This younger generation across the globe is growing up on these, right?
Yeah.
And they're stuck in comparison, stuck in just tons of unhealth. I honestly, I see this picture of these boot camps springing up, and you just bring young girls and young boys into this sense of confidence in who they are and what they accomplish.
You never know.
Inshallah.
I appreciate that. But to add on that, there's also another side of the coin.
Yeah.
See, yeah, my dad had my back, but because he's seen results. See, if he had my back and I was just like waving and...
It's not unmerited, right?
Yeah. So if there's no results, I mean, there's certain situations where I didn't do good. I'm like, hey, what are you doing?
Totally.
You know, like he's pissed. Like, hey, you're wasting your time. You're doing this. And I'm talking about the good stuff. You know? So there's also, like another side of things, and results speak for yourself. I mean, your resume is the good things that you've done in your life. You don't put down what's really, what went wrong.
Right.
So, I just wanted to add that because
I love that you added that.
Yeah, I don't want people to be like, oh man, his parents so supportive, that's why he's so motivational. No. My dad is supportive because there's results, there's failures, but there's also more results. Yeah. If there's no results, then we have an issue.
But so I really, as a parent who's raising, we have 3 going on 4 boys, what you're saying is so important.
Yes.
Because it's what you do with your child in failure, which is so much more important than more important than in success. It's that discipline. I don't mean like, punishment, but I mean training and discipline. And it's what you do within the bounds of failure. Okay, you have to confront. If your dad was like, oh, he's failing, it's okay, pat on the back, that is not loving you. That is not helping you. That is setting you up for failure in the long run.
He made it clear. If you fail, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So I always...
that is a loving dad.
Oh, definitely. I used to tell my brothers like, oh, he gave you the look.
That is a loving dad.
So that...
Parents who discipline, and not when I say discipline, I don't mean like beating, punishment.
Like straightening up.
But I mean like discipline, like in the military, right?
Oh, definitely.
Like regimented.
Putting you straight.
Because I've recognized as a parent, when I fail to discipline my children, it's because I'm lazy and I don't love them enough to get off of what I'm doing, to stop the conversation that I have and turn to my child and give them attention and correction. And the fact that your dad loved you enough to give you correction, that is supportive, right? Because he's showing you that he cares about you in your failure enough to correct you, to put you on the right path.
Definitely.
And that's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, and like, we were talking, it all comes back to the culture, my dad and my mom and how we started all this. I mean, I took a little bit of here, a little bit of here. So when I did certain things wrong, I would hear to my mom and she was like, oh, you did it wrong because you did this. So I'll take that view. And then I look at my dad, he was like, yeah, it was okay. I'm like, why? Well, it's supposed to be done that way. So I'll take 2 points of view, figure out the problems, how can I fix them, and then do it my way to where like, oh, he actually perfected it after that. Why? Because I didn't just get one side of you. It was both that ended up working together.
I love that.
So if it was something that my dad is like, oh, you have to do this and that. Okay. Hey, mom, what do you think of this? Even without my dad knowing. Hey, oh, okay, well, you have to do this, this, and that. So I'll get her side of view. And then I'll tackle it with like, okay, I have this. The more knowledge, the better. Boom, boom.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
You know, so when it came to my degree, when it came to like even marriage, like we talk about this thing, like I'm 24 years old now, I need a job, then find the right girl, right?
Yeah.
So I ask my dad sometimes, hey, what do you think? He's like, hey, from your heart. You know, you find the right girl one day in school or family friend, or same thing with my mom. You know, she was like, you never know, man. God send you the girl that will, you know, respect you and cherish you and love you. So I ask these questions. I already know their answers.
Right.
I'm just trying to see the different side of you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's for me more than that actually is for them.
And there's wisdom in having many counselors, not just the one that you like. And I love that you merge those two together to find that hybrid of like, okay, how can I take both of their sides and find the way forward?
I use that advantage.
Yeah. So what's your closing thought for anyone who's listening? What would be your closing kind of from our conversation piece of advice?
I really enjoyed this podcast so far. We were talking. I mean, I don't even want this to end.
I know we've been going for a couple minutes.
I know, right? It doesn't even feel like a podcast. We're just, you know, having fun talking about cool things. But
I love it. It's been great talking.
Yeah, it was. And to close this, I think I'll just remind myself before even reminding you with saying you're in this life once. You know, you're doing things once. You're gonna fail. You're gonna, like Rocky said, it's not how hard you hit the ground, you know, it's how strong you are by, you know, standing up and actually fighting, you know, what's actually happening. So everybody got to figure out their own problems on their own way, on their own pace, with their own problems and with their own culture, but with whatever issues that you have in your life. But if you're having the insight of, I'm going to figure out, you're on the right track. But if you're trying to like dodge your issues, dodge your addiction, dodge your problems, then you know you have a problem. Yeah. And hopefully you do try to change that mindset, because if you don't end up doing that, you're going to be a lost cause. So all to, like I always say, motivation force. You don't have to be motivational. Just believe in yourself, and then you'll see the light.
I love it. Mohammed, thank you, for coming out to Denver. It was been a fun, crazy 2 days.
It was freaking amazing.
Amazing being on the mountain together. I'm glad no one died.
My back still hurts.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
I've had so much fun.
You should tell them about what happened with the tree.
Oh my goodness. So we're on.
I was good.
So it's May 1st, late snow season, extended season, which means normally slopes are not open at this time. And
you called it the slushy season.
Yeah. So it's a nice warm day, some powder on the mountains. We go up to Breckenridge. Mohammed has never seen snow before. He's never been on a mountain before. So beforehand, we have a conversation. I'm like, bro, it's really hard. Yeah. And what did you say?
And we didn't even go to like the beginners.
Right, because right now there's not. Yeah. Right now all is intermediate and expert.
Yeah.
And
I got this, bro. I got this. I was like, show me how to do it. I'll figure it out like everything else. So all he tells me is like, oh, you're on skis. Just keep your legs tight, lean forward, and I'm looking. I was like, man, this is steep. It's like, yeah, just swing right and left.
I did not say. I was looking at the video today, and I'm sad. It's horrible. I started freaking out as you're bombing down this hill. I'm like the pizza. We're just like,
yeah, this is how you slow down.
Slow down.
I didn't even hear you, man.
And I'm yelling, turn. Like you're going straight for a tree.
Oh my God.
This tree that was like struck by lightning in the middle of the run. I'm like, here it is. I can see the headlines now.
Oh my
YouTuber dies on Breckenridge. Never skied before.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And
I was flying to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm doing good. how fast? I was thinking as I was flying, and out of nowhere, I was like, "Oh, tree? Is that a tree? Oh, I'm getting closer to this tree."
You're heading straight for the tree.
And then I was like, "Okay, drop. Oh, I think drop is a good idea." And I literally just like go on my side, and I was like, "Oh, wait a second! Don't go on your left side because that's where you broke your arm before. Go on your right side." And by then, I was just down. I don't know what happened.
Oh my goodness!
And I look up, and I'm already down all the way to where I can't even see you guys. I'm like, man, that was like seconds.
Seconds.
It's crazy.
Wow. I'm glad.
We're here.
So yeah, that was your ski experience.
Yeah.
Next time we're gonna have to plan this in the middle of the season where there's nice
Right.
greens and definitely get some lessons.
You never know. I might be an expert by then.
You know, I bet, if you come to Dubai, the slope is open year round, and I'm sure they have, classes.
Oh, I'll definitely take advantage of that. Man.
Mohammed, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
a lot
out
for
here
having me.
for this afternoon, this amazing talk, for opening up, for being transparent, being vulnerable, sharing your story, all the way back to adding value. I think you've added a lot of value to a lot of people's lives who are listening to this. So thank you so much for everything that you do. And
thank you for having me, man. I mean, hey guys, this is maybe my second time doing a podcast. So here's a
have you been interviewed a lot before?
Yeah, but not in this kind of a setup. This is kind of cool. Like, this is an expert level here.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I was telling you before we even started. I even started my own podcast.
Yeah, you said
it
that.
did not work, guys.
It's harder than it looks.
It did not work. I was like, man, it's easy. You just assign different camera angles, audio. Let's get it. And I was like, man, this is tough.
Yeah.
Believe me, this is definitely a setup.
It is a setup, and it's hard in a different way, but the same, like I think we've touched on it before in this episode. It's hard.
Everything is hard.
Creating content for YouTube, video editing, there's so many things that go into it.
You just got to figure it out.
So for all you guys out there, figure it out. Remember, if you own your story, you will own your future.
And that's the truth.
That is the truth. This is so fun. Assalamu alaikum. Masalam. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Own the Future with Mohammed Flood. All of Mohammed's contact information, his YouTube channel, his Instagram, they're all in the show notes. Go check him out, follow him, and remember, like, share, subscribe. But most important, if there's one person that you think could benefit from this episode, please share it with them today. And remember, as we said at the end of the episode, if you own your story, you can own the future.